with Tony Gwynn Jr.
Nevertheless, I think this guy's girlfriend should be allowed to look, not touch.
Chris Ello.
When are you going to realize that I don't listen to you?
And Matt Scraby.
He's got dumps like a charm.
Cisco.
Yeah.
Don't blame us for any side effects.
You thrilled our fans throughout the postseason with a great performance.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
What is happening, San Diego? From Peoria, we welcome you to Padres Spring Training and a Monday edition of Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's #1 sports talk station, 97.3 The Fan. It is a glorious, glorious afternoon. Chris Ello and Mr. Scraby here on the back patio, right inside the Padres Spring Training Complex in Peoria. Tony Gwynn Jr. is next door. He and Jesse Agler are broadcasting the ball game that is going on right now between the Brewers and the Padres. But we will have plenty of Tony on the program today, and we're loaded up, Scraby. We got a great show for you today. I'm not even going to say among our guests. I'm just going to say our guests. How about Jason Heyward? He'll be first up at 2:40 this afternoon, the veteran left fielder. Scraby went up and introduced himself and said, I'm expecting big things from you this year, Jason, and looking forward to a sensational year. Isn't that what you said?
I was very nervous because I didn't know whether or not he had heard. I'm probably pretty sure he hasn't heard.
Right.
But it is one of those things about this job that is very strange, is when you are talking about how you don't think a guy should make a team, and then he walks up and he's very nice and he's awesome.
Yes, he is.
Shakes your hand and all that other stuff. So I just kind of slinked away a little bit.
I was a little worried about that, but no, Jason Heyward was outstanding, and he'll be our 2:40 guest, Jackson Merrill. I still think he's the rookie of the year. I mean, come on. He'll be on at 3:40 today, and then in the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour, we'll find some time for, I don't know, Jake Cronenworth, Tyler Wade, Gavin Sheets, and Ruben Niebla. We may have to go into the Scraby Chronicles
and
today.
More.
Yes, we also have Cali Clark from the Aztec women's basketball team, as they, along with the Aztec men and the UCSD men and women, all learned that they're going to March Madness this year. So it's and this is a fantastic week. I don't know, is there a better week on the sports calendar than this? To have all 4 teams in March Madness, everybody excited, everybody going somewhere, hopping on a plane to go play somebody. And then the Padres 2 weeks away from opening day. As a matter of fact, Major League Baseball opening day is in the middle of tonight. If you're willing to get up at 3 o'clock this morning, you can see the Dodgers and the Cubs. They're going to play the first. You're not. I know. We did that last year.
I'm good.
We did that last year, didn't we?
Good.
Yeah, we're not going to do that this year. But the Dodgers and Cubs will actually play the first game of the Major League schedule in the middle of the night. So we got a great show lined up. Hopefully you'll sit back, relax, enjoy some Gwynn and Chris today. We're going to talk about the basketball, the Aztecs, and the and UCSD and the women's teams and all of that with Tony here in our next segment. But the big news from Padres spring training camp came this morning, and it surprised a lot of people. Michael King is going to get the opening day start for the Padres against the Atlanta Braves. Again, we're only 10 days away from this, which is crazy enough to think. But I think it comes full circle, Scraby. I mean, after all, you opened the playoffs last year. The Atlanta Braves were here. Michael King pitched, and I believe he pitched pretty well. I think it was like 7 innings. He struck out 10. He
was allowed 11 strikeouts?
Maybe 11. Yeah, allowed 2 hits. So, people are surprised. I thought maybe Dylan Cease would get the opening day nod. Hey, look, it's nice to have options if you're the Padres, and you could have gone with Yu Darvish as well, but Michael King gets the call. Mike Schilt made the announcement today.
Well, Yu Darvish has some shoulder fatigue, and he's shutting down stuff, so I don't think he was up for it anyway. I read all about that, the Kevin Acee article, and Yu Darvish shutting it down for a little bit. It just sounds like they really just want to save him for the stretch run of the season. They were saying you don't win championships in April and May, which is true, so you don't need him the entire year.
Yeah, well, Darvish will, I think they'll take their time and be careful with Darvish. But, look, you've got options. I mean, right now, the number 5 starter, it's Stephen Kolek, who's getting rave reviews from everybody. And then it's Vasquez. I mean, and, if Darvish misses a turn or two, you could use both of them in the rotation. So, and don't forget Matt Waldron. I mean, he's going to eventually be okay. The oblique injury. I still have a lot of confidence in Waldron. I know they do as well. But I thought it was funny today, Scraby, because I just wanted everybody to understand that I am on the scene when it comes to breaking news for San Diego sports fans. And I'm going to tell you how much on the scene I am.
Okay.
Just about 5 feet away from where we're sitting here, Scraby, in the back here in the Padre patio, Mike Schilt had his morning press conference, and I believe it was
right there.
Okay, right there. Yeah, it was about 9:55. As a matter of fact, you could set your watch by it. It was exactly 9:55 that he came out. So I and the rest of the media crowded around him, as we all do. And the first thing he said was, Michael King is the opening day starter.
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, oh, that's interesting. And then I waited a minute or two, maybe 10 seconds it took me. And then I went, hey, that's actually newsworthy. Maybe I should tweet this out.
Yeah.
But my point is it took me a moment to realize that this was interesting news that I was getting here that other people might be in on and want to get in on. I was just like, I'm like, oh, good. Michael King's the opening day starter. Is that important to anybody?
Yes.
Evidently it is. Yes, it's important to everybody. I know, but
everybody wants to know.
Everybody wanted to know, and it was huge, but I was there to hear the announcement, yet I basically had no reaction at all when I first heard it. So that's how clued in I am.
You have to be kind of subdued. You can't be like, yeah,
right. That would have been
choice.
That probably wouldn't have been a good reaction.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, Chris did ask Michael King a question. Michael King came right out after Mike Schilt talked, and Chris asked him a question. And it was one of those things where I kind of wanted to move over a couple steps because
you didn't want to be associated with me.
No, it was actually a decent question. You said, "What are you going to throw on your first pitch?"
Yeah. Look, I let him talk it wasn't the first question out of the box.
No.
Everybody asked him about the opening day start and how excited he was.
It was ramping down.
Yes, it was ramping down, and so I threw that in there. But Sammy Levitt, who is the all-time guy for us.
Yeah.
I talked to them. He wrote on his Twitter before Mike Schilt came out to talk.
Okay.
And he typed out, Dylan Cease has been named the opening day starter.
Are you supposed to be telling everyone this?
I'm telling them because he expected Dylan Cease, and most people expected Dylan Cease. The reason I'm saying this is because Sammy wanted to be so fast with his tweet that all he wanted to do was press the send button so that he could be ahead of everybody.
How do you think he became the TikTok king?
That is the glory of Sam Levitt. But on this particular occasion, it backfired on him because Mike Schilt threw the old curveball and went with Michael King. So Sammy had to retype his tweet before he could send it out.
Yeah.
I just giving a thumbs up to Sam Levitt. I'm not making fun of him at all.
No.
I'm giving him a thumbs up. That's the kind of dedication that we have for all of you out there as San Diego Padres radio. That's the kind of dedication to our craft that you can expect from us.
I can't let myself into Sam Levitt's level of work.
Right, I know. Okay, that's the dedication that Sam Levitt has to his craft.
But I have been anxious and sweating in the hotel room for the last 3 hours trying to put all these interviews together, which is our form of working hard.
That's our form of dedication. But, so Michael King will get the call. I have no problem. I think it's a good choice. And my goodness, when you can come back with Dylan Cease in the second game, that's a pretty good start to the season. Now, Chris Sale will start for Atlanta, I'm almost sure, on opening day. I don't know if the Braves have made their official designation, but you're going to have a couple of pretty good pitching matchups to start this season with the Braves and the Padres. And 10 days, the countdown is going on right now to the beginning of the 2025 baseball season. So I'm excited.
Well, driving out here, I was like, man.
Yeah,
this year is already flying by. I'm in that stage of my life, Chris, where everything is flying by for me, and I'm like, oh no, I just wasted my 20s. Oh no, I just wasted my 30s, and so I'm that stage of life. But I cannot believe it. I'm ready for this baseball season.
Do you want me to write you a note that says, congratulations, you just wasted your 40s? Because that's going to be soon.
That will be soon. You're absolutely right.
I'll just give it to you now.
You know, I only live for my dog now, and it's Lucky's birthday. So I had to fit that in. It's his unofficial 3rd birthday. He was born in the area of St. Patrick's Day, but his name is Lucky, so I decided St. Patrick's Day.
In fact, I thought it was only St. Patrick's Day today, but no, alas, it is Lucky's birthday. Well, happy birthday to Lucky out there. And
when we were interviewing this morning, Sale was announced this morning.
Oh, he was.
Their starter.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Very well. We like to be up to date here, or at least Scraby does.
What were you doing in that 3 hours that we were back in the room?
That he was announcing that?
Yeah.
I was going over my notes.
Okay.
I was going over my notes for.
Are you going over your notes for LSU?
I was going. Yes, I got to get ready for LSU Saturday night. We're going to talk about the Aztec men, women, and UCSD basketball teams in a second. Before we get to that, though, Scraby, you and I had a chance Saturday night. We went out to the SDFC match. Ended up in a 1-1 draw against Columbus Crew. First and foremost, I got to say, spot-on job by the organization, SDFC. The announcements they made before the game, they brought players out, they brought the coach out on the field. They spoke in English to the fans, they spoke in Spanish to the fans, and told everybody in the crowd to behave themselves.
They put flyers in each cup holder. They gave us a flyer.
So look, I think they've hopefully nipped this thing in the bud, and that's kind of the end of all of that.
It's the only thing they could have done.
Right.
Really was like, hey, this is our expectation. We're not going to move from it.
We cannot have this happen. And, the crowd was incredible. I remarked to you a couple of times that group of 1,000 or so people that sit behind the goal, the supporters, they call them, they're unbelievable.
They are.
Like, I honestly think that they have SDFC supporter practice during the week. They were so on point with their chants, with their songs, with their drumming, with everything they were doing. I was like, how do these people all know everything to say and do the entire time? Yeah, I was blown away by these people, and the atmosphere is, it's amazing. Everybody's got to go see a soccer match, even if you're like me and not the world's biggest soccer fan, just to be part of the experience. It was great.
I do like it in person. It's much different in person than it is on TV, and you see the physicality. You see how good these guys really are.
They are good.
The one thing I got to say to all of the beautiful people is I'm trying to learn soccer, okay? Stop getting on my case because I don't know certain things about soccer.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Yeah, we're giving it the old college try here. So we're on it. We're out at the match, and good for SDFC. 4 matches in to their existence, and they still haven't lost. So that was a fun Saturday night. All right, we are underway. First of 2 shows from Peoria. We gave you the rundown. It's going to be spectacular. Don't go anywhere. Aztecs Tritons basketball. Tony with us to talk next as we're underway on 97.3 The Fan.
here last segment, but we hadn't got a chance to really dive into not just the Aztecs, but the Tritons as well.
The Tritons, you got a little love for the Tritons.
Both men and women have gotten in on both sides. This is a pretty exciting time for San Diego, all rivalries aside.
It's a historic week.
Pretty sweet.
It's a historic week. I don't know that's ever happened. I mean, you've got and I mean, if you're a basketball fan in this town, you've got
really games all week.
Tuesday night, you got the Aztec men. Wednesday night, you got the UCSD women. I think Thursday, you got the UCSD men, and Friday you'll have the Aztecs again, hopefully, and then Saturday the San Diego State women. I mean, kudos to all of them. Because, I mean, I know especially, but you do too, Tony, how hard it is to get to here. I think for the Aztec men, the fans take it a little bit for granted now that we're going to be in the tournament every year. You're not. You don't just get in the tournament. I mean, you got to go 21 wins. You got to beat Houston. You got to win a bunch of games in the conference. Yeah. And even after that, they had to sweat it out right to the end. But I think that win over Houston is what ended up. That's what the committee people said. They said that stuck in their minds. And so,
it should. That's the reason why we were harping on it the way we were. Because it was a mega victory for the Aztecs. And as it turned out, it could have been the sole thing that got them into this, the last four. So, I mean, listen, despite the season, at least for the men, not going exactly the way we thought it was going, especially earlier in the season, this is still pretty sweet. They got in. Yeah, they still got a chance to make a run. I know it sounds like Magunguaf is going to be available. We certainly hope so. It certainly changes the way things look if he is available.
Yeah, wait till those North Carolina guys drive down the lane and he's waiting. That could change it.
Yeah, it's
hopefully.
That's a different deal.
I'm excited that they're playing North Carolina, frankly, Tony. I mean, I was looking the other day, and you look at all the teams the Aztecs have beat in the NCAA tournament. They have a win over Alabama that was huge. I think 1 year they beat Oklahoma. But a lot of their wins in the NCAA tournament have come over teams from lesser conference. They haven't really ever beaten a true blue blood. And you beat North Carolina. That is as blue as the blood can get.
That's in the tournament, right? They beat
in the tournament. Yeah. They beat Kansas back in the day in the regular season. But if they could get one in the tournament over North Carolina, that would be
that would be epic.
Be a nice feather in their cap. And I like their draw. I do. Ole Miss would be their first opponent, North Carolina. One of the 14 SEC teams in the tournament, which is
a record, right?
Slightly, yeah. Imagine coming in 14th place and still making the tournament. I think that's what it was.
That's how good that conference was.
Yeah, that's how good it was. But I think the Aztecs we know they're capable of beating just about anybody if they play well because they've done it. They beat Houston, and I hope they're a dangerous squad this year. It's been a great job by their coaching staff with all these young players to fit it all in.
They'll have to
get here.
They'll have to stay out of foul trouble. They'll have to hit their free throws.
Yes.
Those are things that have plagued them really all season long.
Yeah.
But if they do those things, they can be the type of team that we talk about that no one wants to play.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they haven't been that team consistently enough, which is why they're in this situation.
Right. No, that's a good point. The UCSD men, I mean, got to give them their due, and Eric Olin to put together. He used the fact that they were not an NCAA eligible team last year to put a chip on these guys' shoulder, right? Because we had him on a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Look, they won't even let us into the NCAA tournament, so let's show them what they're missing." And so they were able to build that last year and then carry it into
that chip just got bigger.
Right. And now in this year, they got the opportunity, they've made it real. And frankly, they're dominating, and they have the longest winning streak in the nation. They've won 15, 16 games in a row. They're playing Michigan. But I want to tell you something. The odds makers only have Michigan as a 2-point favorite. That tells me
they think it's going to be a close game.
They know, everybody knows that UC San Diego it's a 12-5 matchup, but they're going to have a good chance to win.
Yep, that is going to be one of my 12-5 matchups that I'm looking at for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's exciting, man. It really is to have this much San Diego flavor inserted into both tournaments. I mean,
yeah.
I'm excited for you. You get to go down to LSU.
I know.
Listen, I know.
For the first time ever, Tony's jealous of somewhere I'm going.
I 100% am jealous. I can't even front about it. I think it's pretty cool, man. And I already told you off here. I want you to take as many pictures as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of us will ever get to go to check out a game at a place like LSU. I think that is like, as a sports nut,
right?
I think that is super cool.
Yeah.
Despite the odds makers giving us virtually no chance. Granted, LSU is, coached by the great Kim Mulkey. They have a fantastic roster. This is a team that has been in the top 5 pretty much all year long.
I know, and they just slipped out at the end. Just fell far enough to have to play the Aztecs.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but nonetheless, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for Stacy. I'm excited for those young ladies that get a chance to play on the national stage. This is pretty cool, man.
It is. And the Aztec women got the game that is actually going to be on ESPN, the main ESPN, Saturday night at 7:15. So they're Pacific time. Thank you, Scraby. Yes, Pacific time, 7:15 Saturday. But they'll be on ESPN, which is a great stage for them.
Wait.
And
I was just about to say, Chris, are you going to be sleepy by the time the game starts?
I may not make the second half. That's a good point, Scraby. It'll be 9:15 when they start in Louisiana.
Wow. You're not going to be done till midnight.
I know.
I had to let the math do the math in the head first. I was like, wait a minute, that's like 9:15.
All right, here's my my promise to you, Scraby.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to do everything I can to get a picture with me and Kim Mulkey.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
You have to.
Please.
I've got to find Kim Mulkey and make her pose for a picture with me.
Dude, she's a legend, dog.
She's a legend.
She's a freaking legend.
It is.
Not only is she a legend, I watched some of her clips as a player.
She was good.
She played the same way she coaches.
Yeah. In your face.
I just want you to throw her off her game somehow. When she's right in front of you, just kind of say something to get her a little bit angry. She's really easy to get angry.
It looks like it shouldn't be that difficult to get her angry.
Just don't go viral, man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Scraby, I'm not going viral.
We don't need bad publicity. I know all publicity is good publicity, but we don't need that publicity.
Just yell at her, where can I get some gumbo?
Oh my god.
See, that won't make that's fine. But she'll know.
Gee, I should just bring you with you. Bring you with me.
I have such great comebacks. Real quick, before we move any further, I just want to say that our March Madness bracket is up right now and running.
Okay, I don't know how to get to it. I've been trying.
I sent an email I didn't send it to you because I didn't want to put your public email everywhere.
I appreciate
so I will help you. But if you go to 973thefansd.com, you can go and look for the blog post that says sign up for our bracket challenge, also on our socials as well. All you need to do is just click the link. There's no prize or anything. You have to sign up the form so we can find you in case you win. We
want to be able to recognize the winner, but our March Madness bracket, that will be fun.
Woodsy's in it. So, you guys are in it. So, you're going to be playing against some fan personalities, also all the other people who listen to the fans. Yeah. So, make sure you go and look for that, 973thefansd.com or Twitter or Facebook.
I'm feeling a good vibe for the Aztec men, especially because we're sitting out in the courtyard where 2 years ago, Scraby and I watched the Alabama game. And
Tony, do you know that Chris cried right?
I cried right over
there. where Sam Levitt's stuff is set up right now. That is the seat that Chris cried.
Boo-hooing.
I was
when the Aztecs beat Alabama.
Stuck in traffic coming from Mason.
Were. I remember that.
It was way out there. Didn't even make it back because it was so bad.
See, here's the thing. How do we get Adam to pay for another night of a hotel room so that we could all three watch the game? 4 with Sam Levitt watch the game with
no
on
kidding,
Tuesday
man.
night.
They're playing right after our show tomorrow night. The Aztecs.
Chris said he's going to drive all the way home without knowing any sort of result, which is insane.
No, it's not. That is what a real sports fan does.
You're going to get home at midnight and you're going to watch the game?
Or the next morning, yeah.
No, I won't be able to sleep.
Okay, well, that's true.
I'll be home about midnight. I'll tuck Lori in, and then I will set up and have my DVR and watch the game.
You're like, Lori, go ahead, go to sleep.
Yes,
get you some rest.
You look a little tired.
You look tired. So you can be by yourself to watch the game. I've done that move before.
That's right.
All right.
Let's get to break. We have plenty lined up for you today. Lots of interviews here at the Peoria Sports Complex. Padres facing the Brewers later on today. We'll have many more your favorites coming up later on today. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
from the back patio here at Padres Spring Training Complex, Peoria, Arizona. And it's an exciting day, sports-wise. I mean, I'm excited for sports every day, but, man, when you got the March Madness coming up starting tomorrow with the Aztecs. Aztecs got on the plane to Dayton this afternoon, and they'll take on North Carolina tomorrow evening. And then, man, every single day this week, there's going to be tournament basketball. UC San Diego, Aztecs, men and women. Man, it's exciting. And, of course, Padres 10 days away from opening day. Michael King earlier today named the opening day starter. And Scraby and I were on the scene for that big announcement.
We sure were.
And saw Mike Schilt, obviously. He did not recognize either of us.
I didn't think that he was going to.
No, I didn't think he would either. And I was trying to figure out a way to go over and say hello and introduce myself and say, you know, I'm the annoying guy that's on the radio talking to you all the time.
Is my mic on?
Yeah,
okay.
I hear you.
All right.
Yeah,
I can't hear myself. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I hear
you. I thought you were going to be like.
I know.
I thought you were going to try to pull him aside and say, hey, Chris, hello. Because, you know, that's basically how you do it. This is the only time you're going to get close access to
him.
So.
And I didn't. I wasted my opportunity. But, yes, I'll try to say hello to Mike before the week is out. But, it's exciting. And we're going to be here. We got a great show today. If you're just tuned in, Jason Heyward is going to be joining us here in just a moment. And then after Cali Clark kicks off the 3 o'clock hour, she of the Aztec women's basketball team, we will have in order Jackson Merrill at 3:40. We will have Scraby hasn't decided whether he wants Gavin Sheets or Tyler Wade at 4:20.
They're both great.
They're both good. We'll have one of those guys at 4:20.
And Gavin Sheets is a massive human being.
Massive.
And
I said that. When
you
he was sitting there,
I thought about it.
I know how this guy hit the ball out of Peoria Complex last week. Ruben Niebla will join us at 5:20, and Jake Cronenworth will wrap up the show at 5:40. So, and then tomorrow, we're going to be here again tomorrow. So we'll have another good one tomorrow. I think Dylan Cease is on the list. For tomorrow.
Some big names on the list for tomorrow.
Right. So make sure you're with us. Not only the rest of today, but tomorrow as well. Our spring broadcast from Peoria. Now, I came over yesterday afternoon, actually morning. I left early, got in here about 12 o'clock, etc., and checked in on Scraby. And you were late out the gate. You left about 12 o'clock.
Yep.
And drove over here. And you would have been here by 5 o'clock, except for something that could only happen to Scraby happened to him as he was closing in on reaching Phoenix, Arizona.
It's the most ridiculous stuff in the world.
It
really is. But,
is.
I woke up and I decided to take Lucky and the dogs for a big, long hike because we couldn't check in till 3. Why not?
Right.
And then things got out of control after that, and I just lost about 2 hours, not sure where that went. So I got on the road finally. I was going to be here by like 5:30.
Yeah.
And I'm coming around the corner, coming around the bend. She'll be coming around the mountain, Chris.
Yeah.
And I see this big thing of smoke. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, please don't be what I think that is.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, traffic starts slowing down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm getting closer to smoke. And now at this point, I can see there is a Toyota Tacoma on fire on the freeway. And there's no emergency vehicles. The family had just gotten out of the car.
Barely escaped a disaster.
A disaster.
Right.
Because Chris,
the car just burst into flames, apparently.
Yes.
While they're driving on the freeway.
Yeah, I was going to do video, but you're not allowed to do that while you're driving, so I didn't.
Oh, good for you. Because you are a rule follower. We know that.
But I really wanted to show everyone this was like no joke of a car fire.
Right.
So when we got up to it, because we were the first people there, all people funneled to as far away as possible from that car, and like everyone's single lane as close to the middle of the freeway as possible. So you know what happened? I was 5 miles from my exit, and I sat for an extra 45 minutes and
trying to get around this car fire.
Brutal.
That's you.
I'm glad everybody's okay, but now that I know, it was brutal.
If anybody's ever driven by a car that's on fire, it is hotter than you can imagine.
That is true too.
It is one of the hottest experiences of your life. Even if if you're blazing by a car fire at 60 miles an hour,
you'll feel it.
You will still feel the heat.
You'll absolutely feel the heat, and it's scary. It's not like, because I thought I'm also going to be the guy that has the gas tank explode as I drive by.
Probably had a gas leak, something leaking out the side.
Nothing
there.
happened like that.
You made it safely.
I looked into it and no other reports, so I guess it's okay.
They got it all cleared up. I missed a big opportunity yesterday afternoon. I was with my wife, and we were in the mall in Scottsdale, and we were in a parking garage, Scraby. And we turned the corner to try to exit the parking garage on about the second floor, and there she was. The clueless girl with the sunglasses on indoors trying to back her stupid, huge truck into a tiny parking space.
Like a compact space?
Right. A compact space in a parking garage, and she's got her sunglasses on.
She's got like a dually, too, the one with the 2 tires in the back.
Unbelievable disaster. I'm sitting there watching and waiting and waiting. On the other side, going in the other direction, she had 6 cars piled up waiting for her to back in. So this is your and mine argument, is that when you're backing in, you're being so inconsiderate of all the other people.
So ridiculous.
She finally got backed in just enough for me to get by on my side.
Okay.
The 6 or 7 cars were still stacked up waiting for her. Then we go up, or we thought we were exiting. Turned out we were going up. So we were clueless as well. We ended up on the 3rd or 4th floor before I said, we got to turn around. We're going the wrong way. So we turn around. We come back down to the 2nd level. She's still backing in. The 6 cars are still waiting in line for this lady to back in.
Wait, hold on. I thought people that backed in are the best parkers on earth.
Right. I thought they just went right in and they were considered as all, they're doing it out of consideration for others. This was not that. She did finally have her sunglasses off.
Thank you. Thank you
for taking those off. She finally, pigeonholed her car into this spot. The 6 cars, there, you can see the people driving by, they're mad. They're going slowly by. Then we were last. And as I went by, I told my wife, I go, I think I should get out of the car and give her a standing ovation.
Oh, please tell me you did.
I didn't.
Oh,
that's
Chris.
What I'm saying. I missed my opportunity. I missed an opportunity for greatness. But, this is why we hate you back-in parkers. I'm sorry. I know we get in this argument all the time.
Yeah.
And the back-in parkers out there hate us for, not liking it. But this is a classic example of what we're talking about.
When we drove over here, I saw a spot that I could have backed into, and I said, nope. I'm going forward like a normal person. Being
a nice human being, considerate. All right, Jason Heyward is the new left fielder for the Padres, and this is just another stop in an 18-year career, one that has had, quite some ups and downs, but a lot of ups, and hopefully this will be an up year for Jason Heyward. He is the first of our interviews today from Peoria. Continuing our visit to Padres spring training, and really fired up right now to be joined by Padres outfielder Jason Heyward, our guest. How are things going for you so far, Jason? Has Padre camp been everything you thought of? Is there anything that this could have presented that you haven't seen before in your career?
No, I think it's interesting you asked that. As far as how it's going for me, it's definitely work. You have to keep it in perspective. I was actually talking to TG yesterday about it. You got to keep it in perspective that this is not the actual game setup. But that being said, you got to dumb things down. You got to make things as natural as possible in your habits and your work day, and then do your best to go out there and implement it in the game. But that being said, also, don't worry about the information. Just go play the game, have some feel, keep building on that. I think it's been a good job of staying healthy. Good job of mentally and physically preparing for the season, and here we go.
I got to ask, Jay, because I know as I got older, how the body felt day to day. You do a much better job of taking care of yourself than I did.
I appreciate it.
But I imagine as you get older, especially in the outfield where, you're moving out there, how's the body feeling? I mean, this is not something new for you.
No, this is big league camp number 18, I believe. And,
wow.
Chris, how you were asking, is there anything that I have seen, haven't seen? I think there's some things coming back full circle as far as my time with St. Louis in 2015. And, a lot of volume in practice as far as like the little details, the base running, outfield defense, just different vantage points of the base running and how we're going to be in offense and the defense communicating. And I think all that leads back to getting your legs under you.
Yeah.
Today, body feels a lot better than it did 2 weeks ago. and it's just funny because it doesn't matter what you do in the offseason.
No.
Nothing's going to prepare you for getting hot, getting cold, getting back hot again, sitting still, going through a draw board, right, on how we're going to go through cuts and relays as a team. Because when you have a different group and when you get a different group of guys together, you want to be on the same page. And, like, those are the things about the offseason you can't bring into spring training.
You talked about it being your 18th year, which is it is crazy.
Nuts.
Because you must have started when you were like 10 years old.
Man, go ahead and date me. That's okay.
You're welcome. No, I'm trying to look. Hey, I've been married 35 years, so I have to tell people I got married when I was 10 also.
There we go.
So I know. Okay, so but how about the mental frame of mind of a young Jason Heyward as to opposed to the Jason Heyward now? How has that evolved and changed for you?
Man, I think the game of baseball is a game of baseball.
Okay.
As far as the way you run the bases, be a good teammate, move guys over. But I think at the same time, I feel like 2015 on, it started changing very quickly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of getting there again where they want to go back to some of the old school things.
I was just going to ask you about
They
this.
want to go back to some of the old school things, but they're also saying our terminologies are going to be very heavily analytics. And I think when you talk about my mindset, it's trust the things that you know, trust the way you learn the game, to run the bases, get a lead, knowing where your infielders and outfielders need to be on the field, being a good teammate, practice winning habits, and then the rest will take care of itself. The percentages and all those things will take care of itself. And then just to tie that answer up, in spring training, you've got to get yourself ready. You can be focused on results all you want to, and don't get it twisted. Like, love to see the guys get that reward and have that grind pay off, but you still got to focus on what you need to do to get ready for the season.
I got to ask, because you brought it up. I mean, the pendulum swung heavily, probably around that 2014, 2015 time. And as quickly as it swung, it's not swinging back as fast. It's a kind of a gradual swing back. You kind of came in when the idea was, I guess, old school. You've seen it go to new school. You're seeing it kind of swing back. Just your thoughts on the game's evolution, but not changing all that much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's an awesome time in the game. Kids, fans getting a little bit more access to the players, being able to see the guys like Tati, Manny, Darvish, someone that's bringing in, viewership from other countries, his sustainability in his career. I just think it's awesome. Like the way we have now interleague every year. Obviously, you play everyone every year. Those are different changes where you play teams in Division 2 and 2.
Right.
Now instead of 3 and 3. Like those are the different things I think are cool, but also tough.
Yeah.
Because you don't see as many pitchers as often as you would before, and you got to be able to freestyle a little bit better. But I think all in all, the game is doing a great job of keeping itself relevant, continuing to grow. It's tougher now to make it though.
Yeah,
I feel like
definitely.
If you're going to be an amateur and you want to tell your kids, or your kids tell you they want to play, you've got to get them out there earlier. I think it's getting compared a lot to soccer now. Like academy is the way, and if you want to make it, keep hanging in there, keep grinding because there's a lot of competition.
You can remind everybody also, if you're a Major League Baseball player, that it can be a little mean sometimes. I mean, you're an unbelievable example. You hit the heroic home run for the Dodgers. 2 days later, you're pretty much on your way to Houston. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in this. How do you mentally even get through something like that?
It's about who's around you.
Okay.
Fortunately, I have family and my wife, my kids, but then just good baseball people. Having some familiar faces in Houston. But timing is everything, as we know. And I've been fortunate enough in my career to be around a lot of winning. Playing this game since 5 years old, winning. Winning habits are, again, just what I'm always going to harp on. It's being a good teammate, paying attention to detail, all those things. But it is a business. And year 2, being 21 years old, I got introduced to that in Atlanta a little bit, just having a bad shoulder. I started that season off even better than I did the first year, my rookie year, which was a pretty good year. But still, teams see opportunities to maybe lock a guy up financially long term, but they look for you at your worst at times. And when I say that, that's not to badmouth anyone. Like,
no, I know, yeah.
Everyone in this space has a job to do, and I think the more we focus on what we control, the better off we're going to be. But those are just growing pains, and if you don't know, you don't know.
Have you gotten used to, because you've been in many, you've had to do the whole move into a new locker room, meet new faces. Does that ever become like a comfort? I mean, I know I did it a few times. Every time I did it, it was like that uncomfortable, exciting feeling. What is your feeling now at this point? You've been through quite a few different clubhouses.
I think you hit the nail on the head, though. Uncomfortable, exciting feeling. You talk about last year with LA. That was my second year with that group of guys. Spent a lot of time with them, put a lot of work in. Of course, going for that end result, but then gear shifting to Houston. Walking in that clubhouse, a lot of the guys, veterans, Altuve, Caratini being there, Tucker, Bregman, a whole list of guys that said, hey, bro, like, we understand where you're at right now.
Yeah.
You come in and help us win and bring what you bring. So that always helps. And no different than this clubhouse, coming in with Manny, coming in with Cronenworth, of course, play with Darvish in Chicago, some of the familiar faces that we have on the coaching staff, Matt Adams, Alan Craig, Nick Punto. It's a good baseball space. And I think that was one thing on the outside looking in. I wasn't aware of how many baseball people there were around.
Got you.
I mean, you got yourself, TG, here.
Yeah.
And I think those are things that help along the way that you realize. But still, you come into spring training, it's like that brand new first day of school. But doing this so long now, like, people are like, yes, sir. Good to see you. I'm like, damn.
Yes, sir.
Versus like, when like Nick come up to me, Punto, he can be like, what's up, kid? I'm like, all right, like
that was
I
nice.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate you doing that, man.
That was nice. Hey, we appreciate you doing this. Last real quick question for me. What kind of goals have you set for yourself for this season, or are you a goal-oriented player like that?
I appreciate that question. I'm goal-oriented, but the main goal is be healthy.
Okay.
I understand I'm always going to work. I've always loved practice. We talk about how this game can be mean. Failure is the name of it and how we handle that.
Yeah.
Those are things I understand, but I know I'm going to figure it out no matter what I'm going through. There's stretches, there's peaks, valleys. Stay as even as possible, focus on winning. So that number one goal, last year I did a lot of special things and helped a couple teams win baseball games, but I missed a lot of time. But when I'm on the field, when I'm healthy and available, I like my odds and I like what I can bring to the club, and that's what I want to focus on. Biggest thing, being healthy and handling the day-to-day.
Jason Heyward, he has taken over, in my opinion, as like the mayor of all of baseball. Like, I don't know too many people. Curtis Granderson had that label for the longest time. I think now that he's done, you've kind of slid into that spot. I literally, much in the same way as CeCe. Like, I don't know that I've met anybody that's ever had a bad word to say about you, and it's always the same thing. One of the best teammates you can ever have. I mean, I think, for those of us who play, that's one of the ultimate honors you can have.
Absolutely.
From your peers.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, TG. And that's not easy to come by.
No.
Because of having to handle failure, because of going through it, because of other people handling failure. I think just doing the best I can to bring what I bring, be the best version of myself. But then after that, immediately just understand how hard this game is.
Yeah.
Being 20 years old as a rookie, someone like Jackson, I understand his perspective. Someone like Manny, I understand his perspective. Bogey, understanding his perspective. Getting a big payday, coming to a brand new franchise. Tati, same thing. These guys are at different levels of it, and because there's so much more notoriety now, the game is brought closer to the fans that we talked about. But I had a lot of guys, veterans, help me out, guys with different perspectives, and I just want to bring that to the game. But it's a fun time in the game. The young kids are taking good care of it, and I love to see where they're going with it.
Love the perspective.
I know we're finishing up, but I got to tell you this story that you would have no idea existed.
Oh, please!
But
please,
our program director,
Adam
Klug is his name. You might meet him during the season, but he is from Atlanta.
Okay,
and he is a lifelong Brave fan.
Yes, he is.
And he had tickets to your first game as a Brave. And he wanted to get there to see your first at bat.
Wow.
He knew it was going to be special.
He knew something was going to happen. His wife was lagging. and they ended up leaving the house late and got caught up in traffic. To this day, he complains about the fact that he missed your home run on your first at bat. So I don't know what you can do with that story, but I just thought you'd want to know it.
Really quickly, as quick as I can, I got to give you something back. First off, as a married man, like, respect to him for, like, going out on a limb and telling everybody that's why he was late.
I know.
Because I don't know if I'm going to come back home after a lot of people know that.
I know.
For one. But Freddie Freed actually had a very similar story to that, minus any significant other situation, but he started the year in AAA that year. We came up every step of the way, but 2010, when that season hadn't started yet, we were staying in the same townhouse, right across from where Truist is now, actually. And he was going to come downtown to the game, and he was like, "Hey, can you guys, like, please just let me in, like, the media parking lot, like, just help me get somewhere, because around Turner Field parking's not easy.
It wasn't easy at all.
Opening day, all that." And they're like, "Nah, what do you mean, bro? You're a freaking rook. You're in AAA." He's like, "But seriously, man, I just want to see that back." He's like, I'll leave, whatever it is. Like, just let me in." Nope. I said no. So this dude's on the way back to the house trying to make it. He walks in the door, goes to sit on the couch, home run. He sees me around in the bases, and he throws his phone, breaks his phone. He's like, unbelievable. He's like, "I was there, I was here, I missed all of it." So I can relate on having that story, but it's awesome to hear stories.
Yeah, I was going to say, is the question, did you really hit that home run? Because everybody seemed like they missed it.
Oh, I saw it.
You saw it.
I definitely saw it.
It's legit. All right. Hey,
Jay,
Jason,
appreciate
thanks so
your time,
much.
man.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
There he is, Jason Heyward, the Padres' new left fielder, a man who hit a home run in his first at bat that at least two people didn't see. Adam Klug and Freddie Freeman apparently both missed that home run. All right, good stuff.
That's a great story for Adam too, because now Adam could always say, "Hey, Freddie Freeman and I got something in common."
Yeah, Adam's right there with Freddie Freeman.
Braves Freddie Freeman.
The World Series MVP.
Dodgers Freddie Freeman.
I know you're not a fan of the current version of Freddie Freeman.
Yes.
But Freddie Freeman's a pretty good guy, even if he's a Dodger. Speaking of the Dodgers, Mookie Betts, I guess, really sick.
Yeah, lost 15 pounds.
Lost 15 pounds, not going to play at all in the Tokyo series, which starts overnight tonight. Dodgers and Cubs, first real games of the 2025 season. All right, break time coming back. 3 o'clock hour includes a visit with Cali Clark of the Aztec women and Jackson Merrill of the Padres. Don't miss it. Coming up next. off hour number 2 of our first Peoria spring broadcast here on Gwynn and Chris Crisello. Tony Gwynn Jr. in and out today, broadcasting a ball game and doing player interviews with us. Matt Scraby's alongside here on the patio at the Padres Spring Training Complex in Peoria, Arizona. We're just a few feet away, as Scraby likes to say, from where I cried.
Yeah, right there.
A couple of years ago,
Actually,
right over there.
I can remember it like it was yesterday. I remember standing up and there was a tear in your eye, and then you wanted to go do it, or actually, I made you do it in front of this.
You did
spring training.
You did an Instagram Live. I think.
I did,
something
and
like
then
that
I got in big trouble with the people because they were mad that I was making fun of you for crying.
Yes, I was.
They were very upset with me.
Well, they should have been. It was tears of joy. It was 2 years ago when the Aztecs beat Alabama, and we watched the game, Scraby and I, right here on his laptop.
We did.
And then we didn't get to come to Peoria last year because the Padres were playing in Korea at the time against the Dodgers in that opening series. So it's great to be back in Peoria. Hope you enjoyed our visit with Jason Heyward. We've got Jackson Merrill coming up in this hour. Also soon to join us from the Aztec women's basketball team. All she is, Scraby, is a 4-time academic all-conference player at San Diego State. She's pretty smart.
Okay.
I hope we can keep up with Cali Clark of the Aztec women's team here shortly. But we've got some games to run down over the weekend and coming up. So let's get into today's Daily Gambit.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwynn and Chris go through the top bets of the day in The Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit is our daily sports betting segment here on Gwynn and Chris. Please, everybody, gamble responsibly. Keep in mind, we are on YouTube. If you would like to watch us, you can. Just search 97.3 The Fan in YouTube. And we also have videos from the player interviews that we've done throughout the day. My friend just texted me in the break, Chris, and said he's watching us on video. And he said, "Did you die? Because the background makes you look like you're coming to me from heaven." And
you?
Yes, because all that's behind me is just one big light, like I'm some sort of angel or something coming down from the heavens. No, I did not die.
Tell your friend you are far from being an angel.
They already know that, Chris. They already know that.
All right, we're having a good day out here in Peoria, and lots of interviews still ahead. With the Padres players, a little different Daily Gambit today. We didn't really bet over the weekend, and there's really not a lot tonight. I mean, tonight is the calm before the storm. The March Madness all starts tomorrow. So thought we'd take a minute, give you the schedule for the men's and women's basketball teams at San Diego State and at UCSD as they get ready for March Madness. And the first team up is going to be the Aztec men. They actually play tomorrow. And I don't know if you heard this story, Scraby, but yesterday when CBS television announced the Aztecs in the tournament playing North Carolina in a play-in game, CBS announced the game as being on Wednesday. And so the Aztecs scrambled immediately to get flights on Tuesday, tomorrow, to Dayton.
Oh.
So they worked on all of the flights and the whole thing to leave on Tuesday for a game on Wednesday.
Okay.
And then 45 minutes into the show, CBS corrected itself and said, oh, no, the Aztecs North Carolina game will be played on Tuesday. The Aztecs had to rearrange everything to leave today. So they're on their way to Dayton today. I can't believe that CBS would mess up something that, important.
Where's the NCAA telling the Aztecs where the heck they're going and what day?
Yeah, didn't somebody call them officially and say, hey, you guys play on Tuesday? I mean, they didn't know where they were going apparently, or what time their game was for 45 minutes. They finally found out the real story now, so they do play tomorrow. It's at 6:10 p.m. at North. I know you're going to laugh. North Carolina is a 4.5-point favorite, but because the game is at 6:10 p.m., that means your show or your and mine show will be over tomorrow from Peoria, And that means I will be driving back to San Diego during the Aztecs basketball game. But fear not, I am already DVRing the game. As soon as I arrive back home, I will set things up, get comfortable, and watch the game.
You do know we're going to get home at like midnight, right?
Exactly. I don't care what time we get home. I'm going to watch the game first thing when I get home.
What happens when you turn on the radio for 1 second and it says,
I won't.
Aztecs win.
I won't.
Or Aztecs.
I will do nothing but listen to music on my phone the entire way from Peoria back to San Diego.
Ugh.
I will not look at my phone in case somebody such as yourself decides to text me the final score, which is something I think you might try to do just to mess me up. So I will not. That will not happen because I won't even look at my phone. So don't bother.
I'm going to have to see what kind of car you're driving so that I can hold up a sign as I'm driving by you. Aztecs lead.
Aztecs are winning, Chris. All right, that's tomorrow. Aztecs at 6:10 p.m. against mighty North Carolina. By the way, I haven't seen anybody who's picked the Aztecs to win. Jay Billis, North Carolina, everybody out. It's funny. All of the official, big college basketball prognosticators, they're all saying two things. North Carolina should not be in the tournament. They don't deserve it.
Duh.
Followed by, I'll take North Carolina over San Diego State. They're all picking North Carolina to win. So, figure that out.
I hate the brand name thing.
It's a brand name thing. I mean, look, they're still good. I mean, you and I watched them the other night against Duke.
They almost beat Duke.
Without
Cooper Flag.
Without Cooper Flag, but they still almost beat him. The guy steps on the free throw.
Yeah, lane violation.
Yeah. So, I mean, North Carolina, we know they're good. And the Aztecs are going to have to play one of their good games, which they haven't done in a while, frankly. They have not been playing great, the Aztecs.
No.
Tomorrow would be a hell of a time to get it all turned around.
I'm confident in the Aztecs, but I'm also a little nervous.
Yeah, it's a little of both, for sure.
I not that I'm a Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to make the tournament, so I just kind of prepared for that.
I was, watching the Boise State-Colorado State game on Saturday. I honestly thought Boise State had to win and eliminate Colorado State from consideration. But, of course, Colorado State won big.
Yeah.
And actually eliminated Boise State.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
That is crazy.
For the Aztecs. Wednesday, it'll be the UCSD women's team. They are in the first play-in round. They're taking on Southern University. That's at 6:10. Congratulations to Heidi Vanderveer. The men's team at UCSD is getting all the attention because they're their first year. They're in. Well, it's the same for the women. Yeah. This is their first year in Division I where they could qualify, and they did it as a fourth-place team, and they will play Southern. And the UCSD women are the only team that's favored this week. They're favored by 2.5 points in their first game. If they win, they would then go on to play number 1 seed UCLA.
Ooh, that would be a tough
official
one.
First round.
That would be a tough one.
That'll be tough, but still, congrats to UCSD's women. Now, the UCSD men, they play Thursday, and they're going to take on Michigan at 7:00. Michigan is a slight favorite there by 2.5 points, but as a 12 seed. A lot of people think UCSD is going to win this game. As a matter of fact, Seth Davis, who was on the panel yesterday at CBS, the people that told us the wrong time and day for the Aztec game.
Yeah.
Seth Davis predicted that UCSD will not only win this game over Michigan, but that UCSD is good enough to go to the Sweet 16.
Hey, I'll take the
a lot of people like love. A lot of people like the Tritons. We know they've won 15 in a row. They don't turn the ball over ever. They have 4 or 5 guys that can score in double figures. They're tough to handle. They're playing Michigan that won the Big Ten tournament. And the funny, who's the coach of Michigan now? The same guy that was the coach of Florida Atlantic a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
Dusty May.
Okay.
He coached Florida Atlantic into the Final Four against the Aztecs. Now he's the coach at Michigan. So good luck to UCSD on Thursday. Friday, we're going to be back to the Aztec men because we're hoping that they're going to win tomorrow night over North Carolina. Now, this is interesting because it doesn't usually work like this. The Aztecs' first game is on Tuesday. If they win, their first-round game is not till Friday. Usually it's Thursday, but they're going to get an extra day to prepare. They'll be in Milwaukee if they win against Ole Miss in the first round on Friday. That'll be 1:05 in the afternoon Friday for the Aztec men if they beat North Carolina. Mark Ziegler brought up an interesting point. The first 4 is San Diego State against North Carolina. The other game is Xavier against Texas, but that game's Wednesday.
Okay.
But Xavier's in Ohio. It's close to Dayton.
Okay.
Texas is in the same time zone, et cetera. Very close.
Yeah.
Why is that game on Wednesday? That one should be Tuesday. The Aztecs should get till Wednesday because they're crossing 4 time zones to go play that game.
4?
Well, Pacific to Mountain to Central to East.
Well, Mountain and Central are the same now.
They're not the same.
Yes, they're 2 hours. They are the same.
All right, I'm going to pull my. Even
How
Frank,
is the Mountain and the Central? They're both 2 hours ahead.
No, they're not. The Mountain's 1 hour ahead. The Central's 2 hours ahead. The East is 3 hours ahead.
Oh. You are right. This is a.
I'm speaking to you people in the YouTube chat. Do you see what I deal with?
That was bad.
Do you see what I deal with?
That was bad.
Yeah. But the Aztecs are going to play tomorrow. Have no fear. They'll be ready for North Carolina. And then the last of the first round, et cetera, games will be Saturday night at 7 p.m. when the Aztec women take on LSU. The neat thing for the women is that the game is on ESPN, straight up, number one network, ESPN. So they're going to get a lot of great exposure. The odds makers, honestly, are giving them no chance, which I kind of like because I think they're going to use this and say, hey, this is us against the world. It really is. LSU's favored by 24.5 points over the Aztec women. I don't think that's necessarily fair to an Aztec women's team that has won 8 in a row, won 25 games this year, and won such a thrilling Mountain West tournament. They deserve a little more love than that. But
I mean, the Mountain West is just disrespected by everyone in women's basketball.
Totally disrespected.
They don't. I think UNLV would probably be down the same.
Yeah, UNLV would be a 30-point underdog against LSU. So, all right, there's the schedule of all the games and the March Madness.
Can I go back 5 minutes and take back my time zone conversation?
Sure. See if you can't straighten that out to everybody.
Because I'm realizing the error in my way.
The Mountain Time Zone and the Central Time Zone are the same, according to Nostradamus or Galileo over here, who's putting together his own universe.
Well, because up until like last week, Arizona was an hour ahead of us.
I understand that, but not the whole Mountain Time Zones, Mr. Scraby. All right, we'll talk some more March Madness. Cali Clark. You're going to enjoy meeting her from the Aztec women's team coming up next after traffic. Mr. Scraby hanging out here in Peoria, Padres spring training. But it is an exciting week for basketball fans, indeed, in San Diego, with everyone making the March Madness tournament, including the kids on the San Diego State women's basketball team. And we're really happy to be joined right now by the well, look, without this young lady, there would be no interview right now about a March Madness game, because she played an incredible game in the championship last week. Cali Clark from the San Diego State basketball team. Thank you for being with us, Cali. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited that we could have this phone call in the first place. So, yeah, I'm doing great.
I know. I didn't know how to say this. We wouldn't have this call without her, but that goes two ways.
Yeah.
A, she's got to be here. Two, she had to play as well as she did in that victory over Wyoming last week, and you guys beat UNLV. And there was a lot of tears of joy afterwards, deservedly so. You put so much effort into it all, Cali. But now, you know, the job is at hand. You got LSU in your first round game. How do you guys shift now from celebration to preparation?
I think we're all still really on the high of basketball and playing good together. So, yes, we're taking a second to celebrate the Mountain West tournament, but I mean, we have a lot of work to do ahead of us. We have a couple days before we go off to Louisiana, and I think we're all really excited to play someone like Louisiana. I think there's a lot of attention and energy behind LSU and their program. So just to be able to go down there and play it at such a historic place, I think we're all really excited and just waiting to get down there.
Talking to Cali Clark, the Aztecs women's basketball team here on 97.3 The Fan, and Allison Fertig was the Mountain West Player of the Year. And you did a fantastic job against her last week of the championship game. When you have someone like that, the Player of the Year, what was your game plan going into that game?
You know, we knew she was going to be a good opponent, and we knew she was going to be tough. She's been tough all year. I've been playing her since she was a freshman. So kind of just locking into the game plan and knowing that if I can do my job the best I can do it and limit her points and limit what she can do for the team, then our team will have a better chance of getting where we got to go. So going into that game, I was kind of like, oh, my goal personally was to keep her under her averages for the whole year. And I think I was able to do that, which I think led to our success inevitably. But that was kind of my mindset.
Cali Clark, here's what she did in this game, because she's not going to spout off all of her statistics, but she played 49 minutes, first of all.
Wow.
All right. She held Fertig under her scoring and rebounding average. She also had 17 rebounds, 6 steals, and 3 block shots. Now, the only center I can ever think of with 6 steals might be somebody like Nikola Jokic. I mean, that is some stat line, Cali. And here's the other thing. Fertig committed 8 turnovers and made only 6 baskets. That's because of the job that this young lady did. So it was really great to see. You came here from Colorado State after 4 years there. I've talked to you, your parents. You all said kind of, I wish we had come to San Diego maybe in the first place. But it's better in a lot of ways. It's better late than never. I mean, you've really ended up on a high for your career.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk a little bit about finally getting to San Diego and how it's worked out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought my 4 years kind of at Colorado State, they taught me a lot about myself and a lot about life. And I think being able to come here and have those lessons kind of already learned really set me up for success, because I knew what I was looking for. I knew what I wanted in a program when I was transferring. And obviously being at Colorado State, I was able to see that from an outside perspective. And then some of the girls last year at San Diego State kind of told their story about coming to this school and having a really great experience with like the different type of basketball structure that they had here. And so that was really desirable for me. So when I made my decision to come here and make this choice, I was really excited and what San Diego had to offer. And I couldn't have gone any better for me. I mean, I've had a great season. Yeah. And I've really gotten to kind of grow into that player that I thought I could always be. And obviously the San Diego State coaches knew that, or they wouldn't have wanted me. So to be able to end the year on, not even end the year, we're not done yet, but to end the Mountain West season, I guess, in such a high fashion really speaks volumes to like what I could have done and the potential that they saw in me and what we were able to do as a team.
We're talking to Cali Clark here, Aztecs women's basketball team. They're headed to Louisiana to play LSU on Friday. Chris told me something. I'm always looking for kind of the outside the box type of question. Mm-hmm. And Chris told me that you are ambidextrous and that when you when you shoot a free throw, he said you shoot right-handed, but when you do a layup or something close to the basket, you use your left hand. My question is, what's it like to have a superpower like that?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool, to be honest. I mess around with people a lot with it because they're like, oh, I thought you were left-handed. Oh, I thought you were right-handed. And I'm like, no, I'm kind of both. So I don't know. And it's really helpful in basketball and honestly in a lot of facets in life to be able to like use both hands just as good as the other. So I'll sometimes, and I've gotten a couple of my teammates in the past, I'll just randomly go from shooting a right-handed free throw to a left-handed free throw, and they'll have no idea.
Which hand are you better with?
My right.
Okay. All right.
Well, hopefully LSU won't figure it out until it's too late on Saturday night. Cali, one last thing for me, and I've said this you can say this about all the kids on your team, all academic, and you're about to be there for the 5th time in your career, all Mountain West academic, got a degree in mechanical engineering, working to, master's. The basketball has just been part of your journey. Talk a little bit about, what your plans are, as you go along. I mean, this is one stop in your life, but you guys are preparing for the future as well.
Yeah. Well, my plans, I think after college right now, I've still got to do a little bit of school. So I think I'm planning to take my PE exam, which is just certified professional engineering exam. I'll be doing that, but also I think next year I want to try and go and play overseas a little bit and use my athletic ability while my body's still letting me. So potentially doing that and then sometime coming back over, but for the near future, I think that's the goal.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, man. The Aztecs lucked out getting Cali Clark because I'm not kidding. They wouldn't be here, and they know they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the season she had. And we wish you guys the best of luck. I look forward to seeing you this weekend in Louisiana. And I know your coach says you're going to shock everybody. And I know you guys believe you're going to shock everybody. So let's do it, and let's have some fun. Thanks for being on the show, Cali.
Thanks for having me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Absolutely will do. There she goes, Cali Clark from the Aztec women's basketball team. 12 points, 17 rebounds, 6 steals, 3 block shots.
Yeah.
That's an okay game.
Yeah.
I mean,
she had a huge block shot at the end of the game.
She did.
Huge
to protect the lead. She was really good in that game. And, look, she's going to be playing against LSU. And LSU center is a finalist for the Naismith Trophy, best player in college basketball.
Ooh.
Anisha Morrow is her name. And Cali Clark's going to accept the challenge. I know that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I was talking to Tony earlier. I was like, as an athlete, when you go in and play a team like LSU, like, do you go in thinking you're going to win? And he said, absolutely. But for someone like me who's never had good enough athletic ability to take on someone like that, I mean, that would be a really fun challenge to know that you're going to get to go up against one of the best basketball players in the country.
She's going to. And, I think the success she had against Fertig is going to give her a lot of confidence. But this young lady Morrow for LSU is, oh, my God, incredible. So,
well, you know what? The coaching staff, they got plans.
They will have plans. This Aztec staff and team have been great all year long. All right, thanks to Cali Clark. That was fun. And we'll come back. We got more. In fact, we've got Jackson Merrill, the reigning National League Rookie of the Year.
we did tell him that. We thought that. So,
well, of course we did. Everybody thinks that. He's coming up after we take a quick break on Gwynn and Chris.
All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say. I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a, what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of Beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was just saying it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say. I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a, what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle with syrup on it. With dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now, I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of beaver nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the beaver nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center.
Padres spring training, Peoria, Arizona. Jackson Merrill, our interview with the Padres star young center fielder, coming up in just a moment. A couple of quick notes before we get to that. Firstly, I filled out my bracket today.
Okay.
And I used to be one of those hem and haw, break all this down, break all that down, read everything, don't fill out my bracket till Wednesday morning type of guy. That never did me any good, right? It's a waste of time. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to go right through it, and filled out my men's bracket today. And I have entered into the Gwynn and Chris Scrabinator bracket challenge. And I recommend that all of you listening do as well. We are going for, see who can pick the games the best, pick the NCAA tournament the best. At stake, bragging rights over everybody in Southern California, basically.
Yes, right, everybody.
Yeah. How, again, do they sign up, or just real quick, let everybody know what to do? So if they want to sign up and put their bracket picks in there.
Yes, you can go to 973thefansd.com. It's going to have there's a blog post. If you scroll down, you'll see join the 97.3 The Fan brackets challenge.
Okay.
It's at the bottom of the page. I'm going to see if I can move that up. I'm also going to put it on Facebook and Twitter as soon as we get into this Jackson Merrill interview. You have to sign up on the page, and then this is what's confusing people, and I don't disagree that it's slightly confusing. When you enter your information into the form that's on our 97.3 page, it's going to give you the link once you click submit. So don't leave that page. The join link is going to show up after you sign up the form or sign the form.
I almost understood that.
I know you're not going to understand that. I think I made it pretty general.
Do you think everybody else will understand that?
I really hope so. I'm getting a lot of emails, and so I'm trying to make this as easy as possible.
Understood. All right. Do your best. Try to get signed up. If not, send Scraby a note and ask him questions. He really won't mind. He really likes hearing from all of you guys out there. All right. So sign up for the bracket challenge. Also, we will not have Chris versus the fans today. We've got so many interviews, so little time to get everything in. So we're going to day off for Chris versus the fans. And one last thing, 5:30. As is always the case here recently, we will announce our biggest fan. So stick around for all of that still to come on the program. Later on, Gavin Sheets will join us. Later on, Ruben Niebla will join us. Later on, Jake Cronenworth will join us. But right now, after we check some traffic.
Sorry, I was trying to get your attention.
What is it?
If you love Mediterranean food, Chris.
Oh, okay, I do.
I
do. It's funny you mentioned that. I do love it. Yeah.
You can go to Coronado or La Jolla, get some delicious food from them. So make sure that you're always filling up on your Spiros when you are headed out to eat.
SpirosCuisine.com will give you all the information. All right. Traffic, and then Jackson Merrill. No more wait.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by the Central Valley Reptile Expo. And I'm off to a busy start this afternoon, guys. Crash has cleared on southbound 805 near Mesa College, but we are seeing quite a bit of residual slowing there. The southbound side of the 163 right at the eastbound 8 connector ramp. Looks like they may be shutting that ramp down to clear an accident, which a vehicle spun out, wound up over the side, south 163 at the east 8 and east 8 near Mission Gorge Road. There's a collision involving a couple cars. They are in the center divide. Don't miss the Reptile Expo March 29th and 30th at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Shop snakes, lizards, frogs, turtles, and spiders from top local breeders. Enjoy a live animal show, meet an alligator and a sloth. Get tickets at CentralValleyReptileExpo.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Jackson Merrill joins us Finished second in Rookie of the Year. I know many people in San Diego were quite perturbed about that.
Jackson, everybody in San Diego, Tony. Don't say many. Come on.
Jackson, how your spring going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. It's a lot more chill than last year and previous years, but I kind of get it. I'm ready for 162 and just to get ready for a long season, a longer season than the last one.
How has that been for you? You're used to coming in here and just being like, nose to the ground, work. This year, though, I'm sure you've kind of had to temper that a little bit. Has that been an adjustment for you?
Yeah, I feel like my work outside of the games has always been the same. Like I'm still working hard, still getting my stuff in. It's just the games are a little bit slower now, It's kind of out of my control, though, so kind of only worrying about things I can control. That's what helps me get through the days.
Jackson, how did you handle your success last year? I mean, that could be something that's kind of a learned thing, right? I mean, to be at the big league level and have things go the way they did. Did you have people trying to keep you a little calm and cool and collected, or how did that work for you?
I think it was kind of just myself, more of focusing on a main goal. My main goal is to come together with my friends at the end of the game and hug in center field and jog in and high five everybody. We want to win the ball game and kind of
AKA winning. Yes.
Yeah. That's the main goal. So staying calm and not really thinking about too much. I think when you hit a homer or something, you can get to your head and you can feel like you're the best hitter on earth, and that's not a bad thing. But at the same time, know that you're the best hitter on earth and you're doing it for your team, not for yourself.
How do you do that, though? I mean, listen.
No kidding.
All of that is.
You're not old enough to know all that, Jackson.
Very well said, right?
Yeah.
But when you're having the kind of success that you're having during your rookie season, I imagine that's not as easy as it just sounded coming out of your mouth. And so fast forward to year number 2 now. How do you go about the work without trying to add too much, right? Because I think that's the mistake a lot of us have made second year after having a good first season, is that I want to do more. Mm-hmm. And that ends up kind of being a roadblock. How have you approached year 2?
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of chill in my work. I've been leading up to a season that I know is going to be long. Last year in spring training, it was go, like get it all in. You got to make it. And now that it's like, I kind of have a little bit more comfortability, in my mind, it's not like that. Like I want to make the team still, but I know in longer terms, I do have some more comfortability. I'm going to be out there every single day in center field, but for me, it's just like, why build on something that was so good when you can just subtly make it better by just playing harder? Like for me, it was like grinding out more ABs that I needed to grind out, not swinging as much. I like how much I swing. Don't get me wrong. That's I'm a hitter. I'm not a walker. I'm a hitter. But at the same time, taking some walks that could help us individually and then steal a bag, could be better than just rolling one over and putting it down on a ball. So, I don't think there's too many areas where I should really hone it in and really get so much better. I'd rather just like continue to grow in my game and let it all flow together, But staying more humble with how I was playing last year is helpful from Manny and Toddy. I got guys that are doing it for the last 10 years, but then also like Manny had more home runs than me. He had probably more doubles than me. Like he was raking too. So it helps when there's people around you doing the same thing. It makes you want to play up to their level as well.
Jackson Merrill is with us, and God, I'm like saying that to myself. I'm excited to have you on the first time that you've been on our show. And from shortstop to left field and now to center field, off season, look back on your first year in center field. What did you see that you like? What do you see that you want to work on in center field? Did you look at like video of some of the greats like, Willie Mays, Tony Gwynn Jr., those kinds of people?
I mean,
you should have seen the look he just gave you.
No, for me, it's just, go be an athlete out there.
Okay.
Outfield is a whole different world than infield. Infield, your work, it really you got super honed in on how you can feel a ground ball and the way you're going to read it. But the outfield is just like, get out there and get your eyes right. Go catch it. If it's in the air, you should catch it. Adam Jones told me all the time, just you see it up. It's the only thing he would say. You see it up in the air, you should be able to get it. So just working on my jumps, working on my agility, making sure I'm still able to go side to side as fast as possible. That was pretty big for me this offseason.
You still one of the guys that checks in on some of the younger dudes behind you. I think that's really cool because typically you get to the big leagues at your age, you're so locked in on trying to make sure you're good and you're right that you don't always have time to do that. But you make time to check on Leo. You make time to check on Ethan and those guys down there
Yeah.
What is that about? Why is that important to you?
Well, it's like a machine, the organization's more of a machine than anything else. You got levels to it, different levels that help each other. You got certain guys in certain roles that help each other in different ways. I got guys down in the minor leagues that are, they might not get as much playing time as other people, but they're there in the clubhouse. They're boosting that energy up. I have a walking example, one of my best friends, comes to the clubhouse in low A my year and completely just boosts us. We win a championship, and it might not have been him on the field, but off the field, there's people doing special things. So just taking care of guys that maybe help you in other ways than you actually notice. I think that's super important. And this org isn't just one person, it's not just one team either. You've got people in the minors that are grinding down there. Like they're working their ass off every single day. So being appreciative of them, the time that I get to watch them play at the end of these spring training games, I'm appreciative of that because they go a whole year sometimes you don't see people. So, just take it all in. Baseball is so fun and so fun to watch different people play all the time.
Life is not that difficult. Just ask this guy.
Right.
My goodness.
This is the right mindset.
He's got it. Hey, Jackson, in the batting order, batting ninth, I think, eighth at the beginning, staying there despite a lot of your success. They just didn't want to put any extra pressure on you, or so that's what was said. By the playoffs, you're more in the middle of the order. This year, I think you're going to be more in the middle of the order. Will that change your approach, or how do you keep that from not changing your approach?
No, you just got to do the same work every day. It's all your work, Okay. Everything you do before the game is kind of how you're going to turn out that day. You might have around in the cage, don't get me wrong, excuse my language, but
that's okay.
You might not hit as well in the cage and then go rake in the game. But if you're in the cage trying to do your work, that's going to prepare you. If you're changing it up every day and you're trying to do something different, that's what's going to kind of change your swing, change your mentality at the plate. But for me, it's always line drives up the middle to the left side of the field. So if that's what I want to do, that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, certain situations, runners on third, no outs, get a fly ball in the air, trying to do something like that. But in reality, just keep hitting line drives. Everything will fall into place.
The idea of you moving up in the lineup like that, it hasn't really changed much. I mean, as Chris said, you hit eighth, you hit fifth, you've hit third all spring. I mean, I know Skipper's going to say he's not committing to anything yet, but every single lineup that you've been in that spot. So assuming that is the spot you hit it, is there some excitement to have a guy like Toddy in front and have a guy like Manny be sandwiched between those two guys?
Yeah, I think it's also just exciting. I hit second pretty much my whole minor league career. I hit leadoff for a while, but mainly second. And knowing you're getting up in that first inning, it's a different mindset. I think when you're hitting ninth in the order, it was I want to get up, but that's not on me. It's on these guys to do that. But now knowing that I'm in that spot, I'm getting up. I want the guy in the 9-hole to get up in that same inning. So grinding that first AB, making the pitcher throw some pitches, that's what I really need to start doing more and expanding. But for me, it's just, it's fun. I'm fortunate to be in that 3-hole right now, and I don't want to get out of it. So
you mentioned that twice now. Seeing more pitches, grinding more at bats. How do you toe the line of being Jackson, who didn't necessarily do that last year, and also improving on that element of the game? Where is that line at?
I just feel like I chased a lot of heaters. I feel like I was on the heater, but then I would be so on the heater that I'd see one up and I'd go for it. I did it yesterday too in our game.
Eye candy.
It's just you see the heater and you're like, heater. Oh, there it is. And then it's a ball and you're still swinging. So, for me, I got to start being more on the heater, but able to look middle. I'm looking for the heater middle, not the heater in the middle. That's what I'm looking for. So getting back to that, that's the main goal. And that'll help me walk more, take more pitches, and have better at-bats.
I didn't want to ask anybody this, but I think I do want to ask you this. The way the season ended last year, bad taste for everybody involved. How did you handle it? How do you think this team has handled it? And will you use any of how it ended as motivation this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody looks back and wants to, change what happened, but I don't think anybody's looking back right now anymore. I think it's done. Okay. 2025 is a new year, and there's nothing we can do about 2024. No matter who won the World Series or who beat us in the playoffs, it's over with. That's what happened that year. We can't think about it. If we start thinking about that, it's gonna bring us down a little bit. So everyone's moved past it. Nobody really talks about it at all anymore. It's time for 2025. We're ready to get going.
Jackson, I think we've hit you from all angles at least here today, man.
And he hit a double off of us every time.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. We are wishing nothing but great success in year 2. We really enjoy watching not only you play, but how you conduct yourself, man. True professional in year number 2 already. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see you down the line, bro.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate both of you.
We're back here in Peoria, Arizona.
Sorry.
Both of us were
I was
kind of
schmoozing.
taking a nap right there.
No, we weren't. We were schmoozing. Luisa Rise just walked by, and we were trying to.
We weren't schmoozing.
Schmoozing Luisa Rise.
Okay.
Hope you enjoyed Jackson Merrill there. He's a young man far beyond his years, though.
Oh,
that's the thing you notice right away when you talk to this guy.
Yeah. How? Where was my maturity when I was 22 years old?
Well, let's just be honest. You're twice that age now, and you still haven't found it.
Good point. But when I was 22, Chris, there's a picture of me on my 22nd birthday drinking a beer. That's what I was doing on my 22nd birthday.
That's all you'd accomplished at that point in your life.
If we're comparing careers, I definitely had a great drinking career compared to Jackson Merrill's because, he's playing professional baseball.
I like the road he's taken.
Me too.
A little bit better.
Me too.
Yeah, he's so good, and he says all the right things. I am worried, like probably a lot of you out there are worried. This thing that's called the sophomore jinx. And I know it's just
sophomore
slump, sophomore jinx. They're just words. But there's a reason, unfortunately, that phrase exists. And the reason is because a lot of guys who have great first years don't come back with the same success the second year. And unfortunately, there's a recent example of this, which is Corbin Carroll, who was unstoppable 2 years ago. Last year in July, Corbin Carroll was hitting 197. Now, he did pick it up the second half of the season, but that was a major surprise to see Corbin Carroll struggling like that. I'm not saying
I really wonder how much.
I don't know that it's going to happen to Jackson Merrill because he just seems different than all these young guys.
He does. You just get a different feel, and I don't know if that's because we're just, we love Jackson Merrill, we're biased and all that, but I wonder how much of Corbin Carroll's last year was because they went so deep and they went to the World Series in his
the year before.
Yeah, the year before.
Right.
I mean, I've been reading things that teams that go to the playoffs every single year, it's a whole bunch of extra games they're playing, and it does wear on guys.
Could be the reasoning. Could be that Corbin Carroll was just hitting in bad luck the first 2 months of last season. But I do know that. I mean, Corbin Carroll, everybody thought he was going to hit, 350 last year, steal 90 bases, and just
maybe we were a little too high on that.
Pick up right where he left off, and it doesn't always work that way. And I think the reason is A, because teams scout you a little more, but B, they focus on you a little bit more. Jackson Merrill, as he said in that interview, has been batting third in spring training. He wants to keep batting third. He was batting there today against the Brewers. And, that the number 3 hitter gets a lot more attention than the number 9 hitter gets. They just do. That's just how baseball works. So he's going to have his work cut out for him to come back and be, as dynamic as he was last year. But I would not put it past this guy.
I have a friend from Cincinnati who's a huge baseball fan, and he loves Jackson Merrill. And he was like, are you scared of the sophomore slump? And I'm like, no. And he goes, why? And I'm like, because when you meet the guy, you get it.
Yeah, he exudes not just confidence, but he exudes knowledge.
Knowledge, yes.
Yes, knowledge and confidence. So, good to catch it. That's the first time I've had a chance to actually meet him, sit down and talk with him. And like most people, I'm impressed.
Yeah, so, also very much taller than you would think he is.
Most athletes are.
I know.
Here's the thing. Most athletes are taller than you think. Most actors / celebrities are much shorter than you think.
I've definitely heard that.
Yes, they look bigger on the screen, and then in real life they're 5'6" or something. Tom Cruise is the example of that. That guy's like 5'8", 5'9".
Yeah, he's tiny.
Right, and on screen they make him look like a superhero power.
Mission Impossible. When you're bankrolling your own movies, you can look as good as you want.
He does. Yeah. Tom Cruise has that going for him, which is nice.
Dominic says, I worry so little about Jackson having the sophomore slump. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Dane says 100% Scraby. He's different.
He is. I think you're right out there. I think you're all right. All right. 4 o'clock hour coming up next. Kind of catch up on what's going on. We're not having Chris versus the fans today. Take a day off for that. Let's Scraby put together some more questions.
Yeah, that's why we're skipping.
No, we're just
it's kind of true. I was like, Chris, are we going to do Christmas Affairs today?
Yeah, no, we're going to take the day off because we have so many interviews. And in this 4 o'clock hour, we have Gavin Sheets and we have a big 5. And then later we got Ruben Niebla and Jake Cronenworth. So don't go anywhere. Gwynn and Chris. Quiz just starting, just really underway, really a lot to go.
Not really.
No, really, halfway through. Yeah, right.
There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, so he's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well, so... So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are just league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, so he's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well, so... So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are just league 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet. Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course, and we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So.
Yes! With plenty of nonsense in between.
Oh, look! Here comes our fearless producer!
Gwynn and Chris starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, happy to be back with you here, kicking off the 4 o'clock hour. Gwynn and Chris from the back patio at Padres Spring Training in Peoria. First of 2 shows from Peoria this week. We'll also be on tomorrow, and I don't know if we can live up to what we did today. I mean, with all these interviews, Jason Heyward and Jackson Merrill have already been on the show. Still to come, we're going to have Gavin Sheets in a little bit. And then in the 5 o'clock hour, Ruben Niebla and Jake Cronenworth. But, yeah, more big interviews on the show tomorrow. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you keep it here on 97.3 The Fan with Padres radio coverage of spring training. Michael King announced today by manager Mike Schilt that King will be king on opening day.
Good one,
against
Chris.
the Atlanta Braves. He got the opening day start assignment, and Mike Schilt made the announcement today. Michael King said all of the right things. He's excited, obviously. Says that Dylan Cease was the first to congratulate him, and this wasn't a competition necessarily. This is a mutual admiration society, really, with the Padre pitching staff. That's the way Michael King explained it. So Dylan Cease will probably go on game 2. Yu Darvish getting a little shoulder fatigue rest, from what I'm told.
Yes.
But I don't think it's anything too serious. Darvish will not, obviously, probably start the opening weekend, but you got Nick Pivetta in there. And, we'll see where the Padre rotation goes from there. But it's kind of exciting. You're 10 days away from opening day. Now you know your opening day starter. And as soon as the Padres announced theirs, the Braves fought back.
Yeah.
And they announced theirs.
Yeah, now we know it's Chris Sale.
Chris Sale will
officially
Chris Sale for Atlanta.
Hopefully he doesn't rip up his jerseys before the game.
He can go a little haywire in a locker room.
A little.
Is that video still exist, you think, on YouTube somewhere?
I'm sure him destroying the TV in the AAA team's clubhouse.
Unbelievable issue with anger management, Chris Sale.
He goes after the fact. Everybody was like, well, they don't have a TV now. He's like, don't worry, I bought it. It's like, no. You can't just destroy TVs and then make it all good by buying a new one.
Right. That's like saying you smash somebody's car, but you're going to y'all pay their hospital bills and buy them a new car. Well,
you're good. You're good.
Yeah, okay, then fine. Go ahead and smash somebody.
You did when you were waiting for that person to back in?
Almost. Chris Sale will be the starter for the Braves on opening day against Michael King. So we got that news. Padres are playing the Brewers today. They're in the 7th inning down the road here across the street, as it were. Padres are ahead 9-7 last I saw. Yuli Gurriel hitting his first home run of the spring today, has 4 RBIs today for the Padres against the Brewers. NCAA March Madness. It all gets underway tomorrow for the Aztecs. They'll be in Dayton, Ohio. It's the first 4, and they're taking on about as big of a blue blood as you can get, North Carolina. I don't know if it gets any bigger than that, unless maybe Duke, Kansas, North Carolina, that's Kentucky.
Yeah,
those are blue bloods. You know why they're called blue bloods, don't you?
No,
they all wear blue uniforms. They're blue bloods. They all wear blue uniforms.
I have never realized that.
North Carolina and the Aztecs tomorrow at 6:10 Pacific time. I think blue blood is also a word for somebody that's, high recognized and established.
Is
so
UCLA
it goes together.
a blue blood?
I would think they used to be.
And they're blue?
And they were blue, but they've kind of fallen off.
Oh, Adam Klug is saying, is Indiana a blue blood?
They're red blood.
Good call. Good answer. Good answer.
Mick Cronin thinks UCLA's a blue blood, but his players think he's delusional.
Oh, hey-o.
Hey-o, there you go. Aztecs tomorrow. Now, the fact that the Aztecs are playing North Carolina is not sitting well with Patrick Morrissey. He is the governor of the state of West Virginia. Governor. And West Virginia was the team that was not chosen in terms of North Carolina being chosen. West Virginia was the first team out.
Yes.
So Patrick Morrissey is not happy. And he says that the snub of West Virginia borders on robbery at the highest level. Not just robbery, but robbery at the highest level. And listen to this is the part I like. He has asked his attorney general, the attorney general of the state of West Virginia, to investigate and look into the transparency of the NCAA to make sure that the selection of North Carolina over West Virginia was fair. Guess what they're going to find?
It was fair?
Probably. But they're also going to find this. The chairman of the NCAA selection committee is the athletic director at North Carolina.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
Now, he says that when they bring up North Carolina to discuss whether they should be in the tournament, he leaves the room. That seems fair. However, he eventually comes back into the room, right?
And when they say, hey, we picked West Virginia, we didn't pick North Carolina.
We didn't pick you.
He's not going to say a word. He's just going to go sit down and take it. No.
Exactly.
That's an awkward situation.
It's an awkward situation, and here's what makes it even more awkward, Scraby.
Oh, no.
According to the website 24/7 Sports, which I think is pretty credible, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
According to that website, the athletic director at North Carolina, Carmichael, I believe is his last name.
Okay.
He's the guy, the head of the NCAA committee. Because North Carolina made the tournament, he personally pocketed a bonus of over $100,000 because it's in his contract that he himself gets more money if North Carolina makes the tournament.
Well, I'm sorry.
I know where you're going now.
Oh, my goodness.
I know where you're going
now.
now.
You should have no say in any of this.
He shouldn't.
Or you forfeit the bonus.
He just shouldn't have a say. It's an impossible situation to put him in. If J.D. Wicker were in charge of the NCAA tournament selections, and he also got a $100,000 bonus if the Aztecs made it.
Oh, I wonder if that's going to make him choose them.
It would be impossible for JD to be, as fair as he'd like to be.
Now,
you can't do that.
The West Virginian governor.
You're siding with the governor,
no,
aren't you?
No, I'm not going to side with him
the governor.
Because my question is this.
Okay.
The people of West Virginia, is this that important to them? Because if it is, then he's doing his job.
Right. If he's representing the populace of West Virginia by looking into this,
he's doing his job.
Then he's doing his job.
Do I think it's a waste of federal and state resources? Yeah, I do. But I kind of like it because I think the people of West Virginia are behind him on this.
I think that they probably are. Look, I'm not going to blame the North Carolina athletic director. He is in an impossible situation. But when you're getting a bonus of $100,000, if your team makes it, and you're in charge of whether they make it, that's a little sketchy.
No, but
it's a little sketchy.
No, I walk out of the room. I walk out of the room. I have nothing to do with
you
it.
Come back in.
I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, this is a little crazy. Anyway, hopefully the Aztecs will be able to knock them off, although North Carolina is being picked by everybody. One other quick note, college hoops, which was interesting. South Alabama was invited to the NIT last night. They accepted. They're very excited to go to the NIT. One problem They were only in the NIT because UC Riverside declined its invitation. UC Riverside said they had a prior commitment to play in the College Basketball Invitational. You know, there's a few of these tournaments now.
Yeah.
Okay, so they had made a prior commitment to the other tournament.
Okay.
So the NIT called UC Riverside, said, we want you in. They said, sorry, we can't. We're in this other one. Turns out UC Riverside got out of its other commitment, came back to the NIT and said, no, we'll be in. We'll accept.
Oh, they said no?
No, they said yes. And they kicked South Alabama out after inviting them.
What is happening to this world?
I know. UC Riverside should just, sorry, you missed out. You didn't accept it.
You know, Chris, this brings up something that happened to me as a kid.
Okay.
I was a part of this friend group, and I was I wasn't allowed in the friend group, right? And then they let me in because someone left the school.
All right.
And then a new kid came, and they replaced me in the friend group.
They took you out right
so
back
I
out.
feel exactly like South
You understand
Alabama.
how South Alabama
That
feels.
is hurtful. How could you do that to
Yes,
those
the
kids?
coach of South Alabama said, you know, we celebrated. We told all our kids they're excited. We got practice where everybody's fired up. And now you're asking me to go tell them that, no, we didn't make it?
You have to let that. This is UC Riverside's fault.
It is. It's UC Riverside's fault, not South Alabama's fault.
Whatever happened to like fairness in life?
Wow, that went out.
Okay.
That went out a long time ago.
All right,
Look,
good-
you
good
know
point.
that.
Good
You know that went out a long time ago.
Point. This is just ridiculous, though. Come on.
I'm not happy with either of those two stories.
I'm actually
actually behind.
I can stomach the West Virginia
I'm
story.
a little bit behind the West Virginia governor. I'm going with the governor here. There's no way the North Carolina guy can be impartial. He just can't.
He can't.
He can.
Especially with $100,000.
He got
on the line.
$100,000, and he stared into the camera yesterday, and he said, "But I leave the room when North Carolina is brought up." Yes, you come back in the room.
It doesn't absolve you of any sins.
Yeah, I don't know. There's more reason. Aztecs, come on, doing the heels tomorrow.
Oh man, I can't even imagine how anxious you're going to be all drive home.
I'll
tomorrow.
be okay. I'll be fine. You know, it's funny. I mean, you're right. If you missed it earlier, I'll be driving home during the Aztec game, so I will actually DVR it, and I'll watch it when I get home.
Psychotic.
And I am psychotic, according to Scraby. But here's what I'm even more psychotic. I won't even think about it on the drive home once.
That is weird.
I'll just get home and then go, oh, yeah, it's time to watch the game. That's how I will be.
I'm more of a what's the instant gratification. I need something.
I know.
now.
You need to know. Most people need to know.
If I go into the plan, I'm going to watch this at home. I'm going to DVR this at home. I'm not going to pay attention. At some point during the drive, my brain's going to tell me, you could just take a little peek.
Oh, really? And you would fall for it?
I would
just
fall
do
for it. And I would be like, all right, cool. Now I don't have to watch the DVR anymore. I can just listen to the game.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I will not do that tomorrow night. And don't bother texting me out there because I won't look at my phone. I will not risk it. I hope nothing.
I believe that.
I hope nothing really important happens during that 2-hour period.
I don't think there's anything that important going to happen.
Yeah, my wife's going to be with me on the drive home, so nothing can.
There's
really,
no work-related things.
Shouldn't be. I should be okay.
All right.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back to Padres spring training coverage and a visit with the biggest story in spring training, frankly, right?
Yeah.
It's Gavin Sheets. Guy's got 6 home runs. He's taken everything by storm. We'll meet him after we check traffic on Gwynn and Chris. Here at the Padres Spring Training Complex, and we're having a great day. Hope you're enjoying the show as well. Before I get to this interview with Gavin Sheets, who's been the story of spring training, 6 home runs for Sheets. It's like bludgeoning his way onto the roster.
He really is.
Yeah. ESPN did a little thing on each school in the NCAA tournament and breaks down the mascot and the fight song and the colors and then notable alumni. Who do you think we have, Scrape? San Diego State, notable alumni. Who would you start with?
Probably Kevin O'Connell. What?
Kevin O'Connell?
Yeah.
Ahead of Tony Gwynn?
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, Tony Gwynn, you're right. I was going to say Tony Gwynn Jr. I honestly didn't even think about Tony Gwynn.
You didn't think about Tony Gwynn.
No,
Very good.
I didn't.
They list Tony Gwynn. They list Marshall Fox, Steven Strasburg, Kawhi Leonard, Raquel Welch. That's the 5. You don't know who Raquel Welch is,
She's
do
a
you?
model, right?
She's a former, actress. She passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, wow.
But she was a big-time sex symbol of the 70s. If I think that's the best way to describe Raquel.
I'm going to have to do a couple Googles now.
You're going to do a little research on Raquel Welch.
Yes.
Let me know how that goes for you.
Yeah, you can come over and sit next to me if you want to.
I'm fine.
Okay.
I'm fine. I remember what Raquel looks like. She looks good. I will say that. She looked great. All right. Here we go with Gavin Sheets. Talk about looking great, man. He has been dominant this spring training. Let's meet him.
Back here from the Peoria Sports Complex here. Gwynn and Chris has traveled here to Arizona, hanging out with the guys here at spring training. And Gavin Sheets joins us here, who is having a terrific spring thus far. Gavin, welcome to Gwynn and Chris. How are you today?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem, man. You've come in, new place for the first time in your career. First, what was your experience walking into a new clubhouse for the first time? I mean, I having done it a few times myself, it's kind of an exciting, uncomfortable feeling all at the same time. What was your experience?
Yeah, you just, obviously you're a little nervous. You're excited. You're excited to meet all the new faces. And, luckily I had Dylan Cease that I played with for a bunch here. So kind of lean on him and came in with him. And then, but just unbelievable group of guys, unbelievable group of people here. And between the staff, the front office, the players here, just, it took me like 2 days and I felt like I'd been here for my whole career.
That's
awesome. So testament to these guys here, but no, it was a very easy transition.
What was the process like for you to become a member of the Padre organization? You get in touch with them, they get in touch with you. How did this work? And then what was said to you? Was anything promised you? Or was it like, you're here, now show us what you can do?
No, yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. They reached out their interest in me and some other teams, and I saw an immediate fit here. I obviously loved playing for Tony La Russa, and Tony La Russa, I told him who I was talking to, and he just loved he loved Schilt, and he thought that would be a great fit as well. So I think Schilt talked to him, and I talked to him as well, and so. But then it's looking at the fit and looking at what, nothing was promised to me, nor did I expect anything to be promised. I didn't want any false promises or anything like that. But what was promises was a chance to compete. And, I wasn't afraid of competition. I wanted to come in and, be a part of a winning franchise. I watched what they did last year. I know the talent that they have here. I know the superstars they have here. And for me, it was coming in and fitting in and being a guy to add some depth.
Victor Rodriguez is the hitting coach here, and you get an opportunity to kind of work with him. He came in last year and changed the kind of approach and philosophy that we had seen here in years past. What has been your experience working with Victor?
It's been incredible. It's funny. Victor actually was my dad's roommate all the way back in 1982 in minor league ball. So,
oh my God!
So we had that familiarity, and he's gotten to see me a bunch. He was with Cleveland when we were playing them, and in 21 and 22, and so we saw them a bunch. And I was swinging the bat well at the time, so he knew what I was capable of doing, and he kind of saw some things over time that I changed that we wanted to get back to kind of the way I swung the bat in 21, and but just what I love about him is how positive he is.
Yeah.
How simple he keeps it. It's not about, we're not chasing power here. We're not chasing, Petco Park hitting, keeping it gap to gap, staying in the center of the field. And being as short as possible. And when you know, it adds a lot of power all of a sudden. So no, it's been great getting back working with him and all these guys here.
Gavin Sheets, we're sitting out here in the back at one of the little tables here out in the courtyard. And I can see why now, Tony. He hit one completely out of the Peoria Sports Complex. Yeah, it's a big kid. And so it's great to be swinging well, I'm sure, right now. Go back to being a draft choice, second-round White Sox, and your mental state coming into being a professional baseball player. Has it turned out any differently than you imagined? And if so, has that helped you or hurt you along your path?
I think Tony knows this really well as well. It's just, I think our dads really prepared us for what was to come. Yeah. The baseball side of it, you kind of know what to prepare for in terms of, getting ready to play every day and all that stuff, but just everything else that comes with it outside of baseball. Yeah. And I think that we were blessed to have dads that did it at, obviously the big league level, Tony, obviously at a Hall of Fame level. And, to have that support system and just to help us walk us through it. Obviously I think that, there's the ups and downs that you have to go through as a player yourself, that your dads can't prepare you for, but, just how to handle things and be a pro. I think I was blessed to be able to have my dad there and, kind of lead me through that before I even got to it.
Yeah. In terms of that, it's truly an advantage. I mean, most of the guys come into the locker room and they're having to literally figure it out on their own.
Right.
We kind of had a blueprint to kind of follow in order to be a pro. I got to ask you, because beginning of the spring, numbers wise, it wasn't going well. But the thing I noticed was you were hitting the ball hard. Yeah. It was just on the ground. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, a week passed, the ball starts getting on the line. When you come in competing for a job, right, how difficult is it to stay with it? Because I remember the first 3 or 4 games, you were hitting balls right on the screws. It was just right at guys. Mm-hmm. But in the back of your mind, even though I'm swinging a bat, I want these numbers to look a certain way.
Sure.
How do you kind of, do the mental gymnastics to keep your mind where it's at?
Yeah, it's tough. Obviously, you come in and you want numbers right away. You want to make a team right away, and it's a different spot than I've been in the last couple of years. Yeah. And so, you start to press a little bit, but at the same time, it's like you want to dive into these guys. You want to see their ideas. You still want to work on stuff. You know that in the long run, when everything clicks and you make these changes, everything's going to, in the long run, it's going to benefit you. And so it's kind of that fine line of man, I had a great, from 8 to 12 o'clock today, my work was unbelievable. And then you go and you roll over one at bat, and you're like, just don't
make it a big thing.
Don't panic. Right. Don't panic.
So hard to do,
it's
though.
So
right?
hard. It's man, I had 4 hours of unbelievable. I had 100 swings today that were really good, and then my one at bat today, I rolled over. I punched out, and it's how do you not go back and change everything? But no, I stuck with it and just stuck with these guys and loved what they were doing, and then obviously you start to see some results and start to be all right, this is why I was buying in.
Has the 6 home runs you've hit in spring training, has that changed your feeling within this organization? Do you sense it's maybe changed their feeling about you a little bit? Do you hope it has?
I hope so. No, it's been awesome. Just seeing, the fruits of labor come to work and just buying into what these guys had, these guys' ideas, and just obviously seeing it translate to the field has been awesome. I'm taking swings that I haven't taken in the last couple of years. And that's what stands out to me. It's not just the home runs. It's the way I'm driving the baseball. It's, going left on left to center field against the White Sox. And, it's just the way I'm hitting the baseball. If they weren't home runs, it wouldn't change my thoughts about it. It's just driving the baseball, keeping it low line drives that are just rising up. And, hopefully it's brightening their thoughts of me. And, put me in a good spot, obviously this time of year, but more than anything, I just know in the long run, this is where I was supposed to be, and the work's coming out.
Now, defensively, where are you most comfortable?
First base.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's been great to get a lot of work in left field. Only played right field my career.
I only asked because you moved well out there. It hasn't looked like it's an uncomfortable spot for you.
Right. Yeah. My whole career I played first, and then obviously got up with Chicago and kind of learned the outfield in the big leagues. When you got Jose Abreu at first base and MVP, you figure out. And so
where you can fit in, right?
It's like Tony told me, you figure it out or you just won't be here. And I was like, all right, I'll figure it out. And so, getting a lot of reps in left field and working with Macias here has been awesome. And, just being as comfortable as possible in a bunch of different situations, whether it's DH, first, outfield. The more opportunities I have to give them where I can get in the lineup, the better off.
Well, Gavin, you're off to. You've been having. I shouldn't say off because we're getting close to the end for a while. You've been swinging the bat well. Continued success, man. We appreciate you coming spend some time.
I like what he said about I hope they're noticing. They better be noticing, or they're not. They don't have a pulse. I mean, they got to notice. Come on.
We appreciate your time.
No, thank you guys. It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Appreciate it.
Very good. Gavin Sheets right there with the 6 spring home runs. And like I said, I mean, you're going to have to find room. Although we've talked about it, Scraby, that final 5. And that's kind of what we're calling it, right? You got 8 guys that you almost guaranteed, right, are there.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Jake and Arise and Manny and who's
Bogarts.
Bogarts, yes, thank you.
I know we've seen a lot of
we've
people
gone
today.
over this all, yeah. Merrill and Fernando, and you got to have 2 catchers, so that's 8 right there. And then Jason Heyward probably is 9. So who are the 4 or 5 that are left? It's going to be interesting to see how the Padres break all that down over the next 10 days until opening day. Still ahead on the program in the 5 o'clock hour, Ruben Niebla. And he's always great. I don't know if you ever heard him interviewed before, man. You'll be smarter after you're done listening to Ruben. And then Jake Cronenworth coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. Next, though, Scraby, Big 5 fun from Peoria on Gwynn and Chris.
Typical tandem student right there. I tried. I wrecked your good job, buddy. Fun, huh? You need help with anything? Okay, I'm nervous. Stand up, stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low.
.437 the time. Scrape, I don't know, but the three cutest kids I've ever seen just walked back here.
They did.
With their full-on Padre uniforms and spring training hats.
Yes.
I don't know how old these guys are, but I'm saying between 3 and 6 or something.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, they are so cute. Anyway.
Yeah, and they won.
And they won their game
so that's
today.
even better.
Good job, guys.
Nice.
I
love it.
They are ready for action. Padres won their game today over the Brew Crew. Final score in spring training, 14-8.
Yeah.
A wild one today. Yuli Gurriel hit a 2-run homer, drove in 4, and Brett Sullivan drove in 3. Today, Jake drove in 2. So it was a good day for the Bats, and the Padres beat the Brew Crew in spring training. If you're just tuning in today, the news of the day, as broken by MLB.com's AJ Cassavell, Michael King is the starter on opening day. Did you break that? Mike Schilt broke it, right? He broke it to all of us earlier today, right? Michael King will be the starter. Okay. We're coming up on the Big Five.
Yes.
Scrappy, you got some other stuff going on in the sports world to share with us?
There's a lot going on.
Okay. Let's take a little check of traffic and then get into that.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. Even from Peoria, Arizona, we have a Big Five that's going on. And Sam Levitt just came back from the game. He looks like he had a grand old time at the game, actually.
Well, it was a good game.
He looks very weirded out for some reason, but I won't show him on the camera.
Lots going on today. By the way, I can't believe we're doing the show right now. We're missing the TGL semifinals, Scrape.
Oh, how could I never?
The golf league has got to be the dumbest thing that's ever come up in sports. It has to be.
Stop. I don't think it's the dumbest thing in sports.
It's right there.
AJ Council says yes.
Yeah, it is.
I think the concept is there.
No.
It's just not TV watchable.
Get rid of it.
It's just you can't watch it. You can't.
Get rid of it.
I like the fun. Okay, get rid of it, Chris says.
Yes.
All right, Frank, let's get into it.
Number 5.
Number 5.
All right, so we talked about it a little bit earlier, but the start to Yu Darvish's 2025 season is probably going to be delayed. Mike Schilt said earlier today he has general fatigue. It's unclear when he's going to resume throwing, but it looks like the beginning part of the season, as of right now, is probably out of reach for Yu Darvish. Chris, how much does Yu Darvish shutting it down for right now worry you?
Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
Sure.
1.
Okay.
There's always, with a pitcher that's, been in the game as long as Yu Darvish. But my thing is I trust Yu Darvish to understand his own body and his arm. I mean, this guy's a professor of pitching, right? And knowing what it takes to be ready and how to be ready at the right time. So they're going to need Yu Darvish during this season, right? He's going to have to pitch some ball games because you don't have Joe Musgrove.
Yeah.
So you need Darvish, but do you need him the first 2 times through the rotation? Probably not. And if Yu Darvish pitch a shutout ball in the postseason like he did last year, that's going to be all what we need. I think it's fine. But, it's always a nervous thing with a guy like that. He's been around so long, long time.
I think you said it right. It's he knows what's best for him, and he's not going to say, hey, I'm going to shut it down right now if he doesn't feel like he needs to.
Yeah, this isn't like you getting yourself out of going to work.
Me.
Or anybody out there.
Yeah, it's not
anybody
like that.
out there.
It's not like that at all.
Darvish isn't that way.
But I hope it's not one of those things. It's like, hey, he's got general arm soreness, and then we're sitting in July, and it's like, hey, he's got general arm soreness. But
that's a concern, that part. Yeah.
I think we'll have to wait and see for that one. All right, Frank.
Number 4.
The Bengals signed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and they got paid, Chris. Big
Both
money.
of them, huh?
The Bengals have reached contract extensions, paying Jamar Chase 4 years and $161 million, making him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. According to NFL Network, T. Higgins is going to sign 4 years and $115 million. According to the report, Jamar Chase is going to be making between $40.2 and $41 million per season, and it keeps both wide receivers and the core of their passing game alongside Joe Burrow for many years to come. So I'm up first. Is this the right move for the Bengals? Yes, it was the only move for the Bengals. At least Jamar Chase was the move. But I knew that they were going to make this happen. Joe Burrow does not publicly say that he wants these guys on his team and say, we're going to make it work, we're going to figure it out, if it's not going to happen. I mean, Joe Burrow what Joe Burrow says goes in the Bengals organization, and Joe Burrow knows that he needs those two guys to be as great as he was this year. So I think this is the right move for the Bengals.
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. And again, I know the salary cap went up, so you got a little extra money to play with, but you're putting an awful lot of money into 3 guys: Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. You also gave Mike Gesicki a ridiculous amount of money to play tight end. I don't understand that, but that's another
former Dolphin, everyone. I have to say that.
He did nothing for the Dolphins. That's why I'm saying that. I think they get a deal on Chase Brown because he's such a young running back. But you need linemen, and the Bengals' defense was one of the worst in football last year.
And they're getting rid of Trey Hendrickson because they don't want to pay him.
I don't know that. I mean, the Bengals, you can't outscore everybody every week, even if you've got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't know that this is going to work for the Bengals, honestly. Let's see what happens.
Yes. All right.
Number 3.
Joey Gallo. He is retiring from the outfield, Chris. He's 31 years old. He's a longtime slugging outfielder at DH who was released Sunday by the White Sox. He said on X that he plans to pursue pitching as the next step in his baseball journey. He said, quote, It's been fun, outfield. Just to be clear, I will be pitching.
Okay.
That's what he said.
All right.
Chris, do you think we see Joey Gallo, the pitcher, at the major league level?
I have a very quick answer to this one, Scrape. Just one sentence.
What?
Joey Gallo should be okay as a pitcher because he knows an awful lot about strikeouts. That's all I got on Joey Gallo, the pitcher. I have no idea. Maybe.
Hey, he's got a great arm.
Well,
that's what I've heard. I'm not scout. I don't know.
He's familiar with K's.
I mean, I wish. Okay, twice you've said that.
I know.
I wish that I could just pick up and say, you know what? I want to try to be a wide receiver today. That's what I'm going to do.
Well, you might be able to do that if you were already a
okay,
football
that was
player.
a bad example. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to be a news talk. I'm going to be a news guy.
You want to be, huh?
I'm going to be a news guy now.
You want to be a White House correspondent?
Yeah, I'm going to go from being sports talk to news talk. I mean, that's just what I'm going to do. Sam Levitt's trying to talk to us like
He's trying to interrupt you.
I
That's
know.
what he's
He's
doing.
mad at me
and
for
it's
some
working.
reason.
It's working.
He's mad at me for some reason. I don't know why.
Good.
Join
the club,
Do I
Sam.
think we see him? No, I don't think we see him as a pitcher at the
I guess a
major league
long
level.
shot.
All
Be
right.
a long shot for sure.
Number 2.
Man, we are cruising through this, Chris, just a little too fast. So
I know, but we have to hurry because it looks like they're going to have a press conference here
I
any
know,
minute
I know.
now.
Oh, and I'm going to
Right
talk
where
about
we're-
this.
Right where we're sitting.
Okay, so Chris, a Michigan baseball player smashed a triple over the weekend, slid into third, and to celebrate, he decided to pretend to snort the chalk line like he was, well, you know.
Yeah,
but-
I got you.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say. He pretended to snort the chalk line. That's all we need.
He actually came out with an apology today.
Thank you.
He said,
I
I
hope
would
he
like
did.
to apologize for my actions on third base yesterday.
Yeah.
I made an immature decision in the heat of the moment. The gesture I made does not reflect my character, the household I was raised in, or the block M that I represent in any kind of way.
Right.
Take full responsibility. Truly sorry. Who have been to all those who have been negatively impacted by this. Mitchell Voigt is his name.
Yeah.
If you're the Michigan coach, Chris, or I guess I'm up first, is there a punishment? There's got to be a small one. You can't be
You sit him out a game?
You can't be doing drug maneuvers on the sideline or on a field with a bunch of people watching. I'm not a fan of this whatsoever. Do you think there's a punishment, Chris?
I don't. He's a college kid. He apologized. As long as he didn't say in his apology that this does not reflect who I am, because normally I just use a spoon.
Oh, my God. I did not see that coming.
No, you didn't see that coming, did you?
I did not see that coming.
I can't believe he snorted the foul line.
I
mean, that's
retweeted
crazy.
this at Matt Scraby if you want to see it.
It's crazy. But he apologized. College kids, they're gonna make a mistake. I'm okay with this one.
Yeah, it was a lot though.
It was a heartfelt apology though, so I think he's
Oh
cool.
yeah, the thing that
He's
he put
cool.
he tweeted out his notes app with his apology. That's the heartfelt apology.
I didn't notice that. You didn't tell me that.
All right.
Number 1.
We got 6 minutes, and I don't know that we're gonna be able to.
But
talk
we
about
got to
this.
finish before this
Well,
press
what are we
conference
gonna
starts.
do? We can't just go to break.
We'll figure
All
it
right,
out.
here's
Let's
number
finish the big five.
Chris.
Yes.
It's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
You're just learning that for the first time?
Uh-huh.
Are you a corned beef and cabbage guy?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Used to make it myself.
Really?
Yeah. Used to make it myself back in the I would say post-college era.
Okay.
When I used to, because when I was in college, I always had the meal card, right? You ate at school in the dorms or whatever. And then once I met Lori, the corned beef and cabbage kind of went out the window.
Yeah,
but
there's
in
no vegan corned beef and cabbage,
right?
is there?
There's nothing I can do. But in between, I used to make that a lot.
Really?
And I'd get a big, but for this visual, but a big hunk of corned beef from the market or the butcher, whatever it was. And all you do, honestly, is you drop it in some water, some boiling water, and then this is the key.
Okay.
Because I was young and I was just out of college. You just keep pouring cans of beer in there.
Okay.
And so it boils and soaks in the beer as it's cooking the corned beef.
All right. Wow, that's the deeper answer than I would have ever thought from you.
And then, for the last half hour, you throw the cabbage in. It doesn't take very long for the cabbage to work. And really, the cabbage is just kind of there as, a dressing. Nobody's really into the cabbage, but it's part of the thing. So you put it in. But yeah, corned beef, right up at the top of my list. Greg.
I had
right
no
at the top.
idea this was going to open
Yeah,
such
so
a topic
happy
for
St.
Chris.
Patty's Day to everyone.
And McKee says, is there any other kind of corned beef? It has to be a hunk of corned beef.
Yeah, I guess he's right.
Growing up, I'm a picky eater, very picky eater.
Okay.
Growing up, my mom made this all the time, and I never ate it. And you know what? Nowadays, I think it's a little bit better than I did when I was a kid.
You didn't like it,
But I'm definitely not going to be making it just because it's St. Patrick's Day. I'm probably never going to make it myself anyway. So,
like I said, I'm doubtful to ever make it again. I don't know that the
but
wife
it's something
is going
that
to
you
turn
love.
over the. Yeah, I know, but
you
I
should be doing it.
I can have it at restaurants.
It's something that you love.
I can have it at restaurants.
Corned beef and cabbage, Sam.
Like I said, the cabbage is kind of a waste.
It's kind of a waste. Okay.
Yes, it's kind of a waste.
All right.
So there's our big five. We had to get it done early because Sam, why are you giving us the look like we need to shut up so that you can start your press conference? That's the look you're giving me.
Who are we waiting on, Sam?
the manager
Mike
of the
Schill.
Padres,
I didn't
Mike
know he
Schilt, is going to come
twice
speak
in one day.
I didn't know that they came after a game, but so he's going to be right here. So we're going to have to just basically shut up. I mean, we can't really talk when he gets here. So everybody's waiting. The intimidating San Diego media contingent is here.
Yes.
Kevin Acey's like, Kevin Acey wants to get back at me now. We got Dennis Lynn, we got AJ, we got all the
Sammy
who's who.
Lev.
It's a who's who.
It is a who's who.
Who's
it
who.
Is a who's who.
Yeah. So we'll chat till Mike Schill gets here. Then they'll have to figure it out.
We talk on the radio every day, but it's so much different when people are around you when you're talking on the radio.
It's a little different when people right. It's different when people are looking at you talk.
I can say crazy things in front of you. Yeah, AJ's looking at us right now. And here comes the manager of the Padres.
So
we should go to break right now.
Yeah, Frank, you're going to have to fill something for a couple minutes because we just can't interrupt this. So we'll be back in just a moment from Peoria with the 5 o'clock hour. Thank you.
Well, Dylan, I think the first obvious question, long hair, long beard, have you had a shave since the last game of the season?
I don't think so.
Man.
I don't think so.
That's great.
Why is that?
Just changing it up. Why not? You know?
Okay. All right. I'm jealous of the beard because I'm a guy who likes to grow a beard, but your beard, how long did that take to grow?
I think this is 3 months, maybe.
3 months.
Now,
okay.
is this going to stay as we get into spring? Are you going to keep it? Because I don't think I've ever seen you. I've seen the beard before. I don't think I've ever seen the hair.
No, I haven't had hair like this since I was 12. I'll probably keep it. We'll see how it performs, really.
That's the key.
That's
how does it
thing.
perform?
That's the biggest thing.
Speaking of perform, how you feeling, man? Obviously, spring training right around the corner, pitchers and catchers report. This is the time of year where the green light goes on again.
Yeah, I feel good. Working on a bunch of different stuff. Biggest thing is really just getting the body to feel good and getting ramped up. But I feel like I'm on track.
How do you deal in terms of getting yourself ready each and every year? You know, ball players are notorious for always trying to figure out how to get a little bit better. You're probably one of the most consistent guys in our league. Is there as much a focus on finding ways to get better, or is the focus how to continue on the path that you've been on, which is a guy who can get in a lot of innings every year?
I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what part of the offseason I'm in and, you know, what I'm trying to work on. Like specifically this offseason, I've made a little mechanical adjustment, tinkering with some new pitches. But the bulk of it is just getting my body ready, really. I mean, that's the main focus, main priority. So I kind of know where I need to be in terms of like my velocity and bullpens and building up and all that. So I always like to think I'm adding. I'm definitely working on new pitches and exciting stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, I kind of know that my four-seamer and my slider and my curveball are kind of going to be my main pitches.
Right.
So it's like no matter what, that's my base and foundation, and everything from there is just tinkering and just seeing if I can get a little bit better.
We're talking to... All of a sudden, my mic over there.
There you go.
Sorry. We're talking to Dylan Cease here,
Don't
Padres
panic.
starting pitcher. I wasn't panicking.
You look like you panicked.
I was panicking for one half.
He made me panic.
Did I look like I panicked?
You panicked a little bit, that's
all right. Well, if Dylan says I panicked, then I panicked. I'm going to have to ask the question about, and I know you've been asked this today, but your name has been a part of a lot of trade rumors this year. I think Padres fans want you to stay here in San Diego. See, right there? How do you deal with that? Because I would imagine that would be hard.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's my second year in a row dealing with it, so I got experience now. It's just part of the business, I guess. Really, wherever I go, I'm gonna make the best of the opportunity. I love San Diego and I want to be here, so it's like if I don't go anywhere, I love it here. And if they trade me, then I just have to go make the best of it wherever I go.
Now, you talked a little bit about working on new pitches and mechanics. For you, how long does a mechanical change take to be something where you don't have to think about it anymore?
Yeah, and that depends. This specific scenario, I'm working on an upper half thing, a glove thing. So I don't know. It's kind of new territory for me.
Yeah, so you're kind of figuring it out as you go.
Yeah, but it really gets to the point where it feels good, and then from there it's just ramping up the intensity. And because anytime you do something at a higher power, higher speed, it's like a new feeling altogether. So I can sit and train it one way, but until I'm throwing 98 with it,
doing it game speed,
And a lot of it, is kind of like learning my body, and then I'll throw a pitch and it's like, oh, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Like specifically if I'm throwing a four-seam fastball and I'm trying to throw it just through somebody, but it's yanked, it's like, okay, something happened right there. I don't know, something came off. I didn't use my legs.
You could just feel something different about it.
And then you see the shape of the pitch. So a lot of it's just gaining feedback from what the ball's doing, and then trying to manipulate my body to see, like, oh, okay, when I do this, the ball goes this way, and just see if I can't ingrain that.
Well, Dylan, I think the first obvious question: long hair, long beard. Have you had a shave since the last game of the season?
I don't think so.
Man,
I don't think so.
That's great.
Why is that?
Just changing it up. Why not? You know?
Okay. All right. I'm jealous of the beard because I'm a guy who likes to grow a beard. But your beard, how long did that take to grow?
I think this is 3 months, maybe.
3 months.
Now,
okay.
is this going to stay as we get into spring? Are you going to keep it? Because I don't think I've ever seen you. I've seen the beard before. I don't think I've ever seen the hair.
No, I haven't had hair like this since I was 12. I'll probably keep it. We'll see how it performs, really.
That's the key. How does it perform?
That's the biggest thing.
Speaking of perform, how you feeling, man? Obviously, spring training right around the corner, pitchers and catchers report. This is the time of year where the green light goes on again.
Yeah, I feel good. Working on a bunch of different stuff. Biggest thing is really just getting the body to feel good and getting ramped up. But I feel like I'm on track.
How do you deal in terms of getting yourself ready each and every year? You know, ball players are notorious for always trying to figure out how to get a little bit better. You're probably one of the most consistent guys in our league. Is there as much a focus on finding ways to get better, or is the focus how to continue on the path that you've been on, which is a guy who can get in a lot of innings every year?
I mean, I guess it kind of depends on what part of the offseason I'm in, and what I'm trying to work on. Like specifically this offseason, I've made a little mechanical adjustment, tinkering with some new pitches, but the bulk of it is just getting my body ready. Really, I mean that's the main focus, main priority. So I kind of know where I need to be in terms of like my velocity and bullpens and building up and all that. So I always like to think I'm adding. I'm definitely working on new pitches and exciting stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, I kind of know that my four-seamer and my slider and my curveball are kind of going to be my main pitches.
Right.
So it's like, no matter what, that's my base and foundation, and everything from there is just tinkering and just seeing if I can get a little bit better.
We're talking to... All of a sudden, my mic over there.
There you go.
Sorry. We're talking to Dylan Cease here,
Don't
Padres
panic.
starting pitcher. I wasn't panicking.
You look like you panicked.
I was panicking for one half.
He made me panic.
Did I look like I panicked?
You panicked a little bit, that's
all right. Well, if Dylan says I panicked, then I panicked. I'm going to have to ask the question about, and I know you've been asked this today, but your name has been a part of a lot of trade rumors this year. I think Padres fans want you to stay here in San Diego. See, right there? How do you deal with that? Because I would imagine that would be hard.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's my second year in a row dealing with it, so I got experience now. It's just part of the business, I guess. Really, wherever I go, I'm gonna make the best of the opportunity. I love San Diego and I want to be here, so it's like if I don't go anywhere, I love it here. And if they trade me, then I just have to go make the best of it wherever I go.
Now, you talked a little bit about working on new pitches and mechanics. For you, how long does a mechanical change take to be something where you don't have to think about it anymore?
Yeah, and that depends. This specific scenario, I'm working on an upper half thing, a glove thing. So I don't know. It's kind of.
Yes, we are. Welcome back. It's the happy hour, and it's been a good show today. I'm feeling happy about it. From Peoria, Padres spring training 2025. Chris Ello, Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby. Tony just finished up calling the ball game a little bit ago. Padres beat the Brewers today, 14-8. Michael King was named the opening day starter for the Friars. This morning that happened. Mike Schilt made the announcement. Some people were surprised, thought it would be Dylan Cease. Michael King was quick to point out that the first person to congratulate him was Dylan Cease.
Yep.
And it's a mutual admiration society. This Padres staff is close, and we'll find out more about that. Ruben Niebla is one of our guests that we will have for you in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, we're still to hear from Jake Cronenworth on the program today as well. Tomorrow we'll have more of the same. Lots of big-name Padre interviews, and we hope you'll make sure you join us tomorrow night. The Aztecs men's basketball team kicks off its NCAA tournament run against North Carolina. Wednesday, it's the UCSD women. Thursday, it's the UCSD men. Friday, we hope it's the SDSU men with game 2. And then Saturday, it'll be the SDSU women kind of finishing up round 1. And so we got a game every night. I mean, it's March Madness every day. And, man, let's hope for good luck to all those teams. It's been an exciting season for all of them so far. It can only get better from here, Scraby, because everything's gravy in the tournament. You don't ever go into the tournament and say, well, we're happy to be here. But at the same time, it's such an accomplishment to get there. I have a feeling like a lot of the Aztec men's fans, like their 5th straight year now. The Aztecs have been in the tournament, I think, 14 out of 16 years?
Yeah.
They've won 19 or more games, 19 years in a row. So I think people start taking this for granted. Don't ever take it for granted, because you just, nobody gets in automatically.
Yeah, I mean, we were just
North Carolina almost didn't make it this year. It's North Carolina barely.
I was thinking about San Diego State and about how they're possibly going to miss the tournament. And I was like, man, that is a huge bummer.
Yeah, right.
I did take it for granted these last few years.
A little bit. And, these kids, they work just as hard as ever. Look, they lost Reese Waters before the season ever started, and he never played a game.
Their best player?
He was supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
One of, if not the best, coming into the season. And then they lose their other best player for the last 6 games, Magoon Gwath.
Yep.
Maybe even 7 games, really, because he got hurt in the Utah State game, which I think they would have won had he played. But despite all of that, they beat Houston, and that was the one that gets them in. It didn't hurt to beat Creighton. It didn't hurt to beat UCSD. But Houston was the one that obviously stood out to the committee, and they said as much in terms of choosing the Aztecs to get in.
Well, I'm glad that happened, because we heard everyone say it when they beat Houston, that was going to be the game that could possibly get them into the NCAA tournament. I have a funny story. So yesterday I was driving out here, as everybody knows, and I didn't know that they had already done Selection Sunday. I thought it was starting at like 5.
All right.
And it was already over. But I saw Chris text Tony and I in our group chat, and all it did, I clicked it in my car, and it said F Carolina, and I was like, what is going on? And I checked later and realized that they're playing North Carolina, and so that's why. So you were just fiery since the beginning, since the get-go. You've wanted to face North Carolina.
I am a competitor, Scraby. So we got Carolina. We got to find a way to beat them, start another magical run. By the way, 2 years ago, when the Aztecs won it, got to the final game, they were the oldest team in the tournament. I don't know if anybody even remembers that. 2 years ago, when they got to the final against UConn.
I don't remember that.
They were actually the oldest team in the entire tournament. This year, the Aztecs are the absolute youngest team in the entire tournament. Now, if that
should tell you something.
If that doesn't tell you that Brian Dutcher and David Velasquez and all of those guys on the bench and the trainers and the strength people and the scout teams, they had an incredible year to get where they got. And because this wasn't really supposed to happen, not without Reese Waters.
No.
So
and they were even questioning how fast Magoon Gwath was going to develop this year.
Yeah,
and
he developed pretty quick.
Yeah, he was way better than they thought he was going to be.
He developed pretty quick. So congrats to the Aztecs. We don't take it for granted. Congrats also to the UC San Diego Tritons. I'm really glad we got to have Eric Olin on a couple of weeks ago. I hope we have him on again. And to that
is that a hint?
Yes, our producer should work on that. To that team, in your first year of eligibility to make the tournament, that's impressive. So, hats off to those guys.
And not only that, but last year they had an amazing year.
Yeah.
And to keep your team focused 2 years in a row like that is really difficult.
Impressive, and to keep them together. Because they all could have wanted to go somewhere else where you could, get more notoriety. But Eric Olin built a group, a bunch of kids that said it's us against them. We're going to show all them what they're missing. Yeah. They should have recruited us, but they didn't. So we're going to go kick their butts.
I love that mentality.
And that's what UCSD did. So a lot of people, me included, you included, but a lot of, the experts think they have a real shot against Michigan in that first round game on Thursday. And then, of course, we've talked a lot about the women's Aztecs, which I'm lucky enough to be a part of. They play Saturday against LSU. And UCSD's women, it's their first chance to make it, and they made it. So congrats to all of the March Madness in San Diego.
All of a sudden a college basketball city?
Maybe this week.
Yeah.
This week we are. At least this week we are. We'll see how long it holds up, Scrape.
Yeah.
Couple of other things. Scrape and I went to the SDFC match the other night. We had a great time. The fans, the atmosphere was amazing. The chanting, I think controversy is hopefully, behind us. The organization did all the right things, pushed all the right buttons. The crowd was electric, and they ended up in a 1-1 draw. But there was at least 3 goals that I saw personally that did not count in that match. And that these referees got to get out of the way.
So it was zero.
Stop going by the rules. Just if it goes in the net, we got to count that as a goal.
So it was 0-0.
This was hilarious.
Yeah. Chris, it was like 38 minutes into the first half or something. And Chris he gets up and he's like, I'm going to go use the restroom. They're going to score a goal while I'm gone. And so he's gone, and obviously nothing has happened. And then as soon as he turned the corner, who are they playing? Oh, Columbus scored a goal, and then you come back and you're like, really? And then when SDFC scored the first goal that got taken off the board, I wasn't even looking, and I was mad at myself for that. Thankfully, it got taken off the board; it didn't count.
Not thankfully. Stop taking them off the board. It's hard enough to score a goal, and I know I'm going to get all these people. But Chris, there's offsides. Yeah, I know. I get it. I know. I'm just saying it's frustrating because it's so hard to score a goal. And then you finally score one, and then that silly guy standing over on the side with a flag up in the air. And you just want to strangle that guy.
The referee that was in the middle, the main guy,
ref, yeah,
he was in the way all the time.
They had
to call a couple stoppages because he was right there bumping into people.
Yeah. Speaking of stoppages, I don't think these soccer guys are going to ever get it.
Oh,
but it's a bad look.
What if they're actually hurt?
Okay, if you're actually hurt, then stay down. But if you're not actually hurt, get up. We don't have 10 minutes for you to sit there. And then you get up and go sprinting off. and that happens way too much.
It does.
I know it hurts. You got kicked. All right. I'll give you a second or two. Now let's get back to action.
I don't know why, but I always think of like soccer guys go down, and then you have the guys with the little what is it called? The stretcher.
The cart. The stretcher.
They're running to
roll them out of the stretcher and get them out of there.
And then as soon as you get to the sideline, they jump right up and they come right back in the game.
Good to go. That's right. So anyway, soccer is starting to take a hold here on this program for sure.
Let me ask this question.
We liked it.
To the soccer fans out there, the hardcore ones, the ones that keep making fun of me for trying to learn their game, which I think is rude. Is a 1-1 game really that great to you? Like, I want to know, because we asked Brian Dunseth last week, or I asked him. I left unfulfilled when it was 0-0. How do players feel? Like, as a fan, do you leave the stadium thinking, yes?
Oh, in a draw, you mean?
Yeah.
You're not
1-1.
saying,
or I'm talking about the number of goals and the draw.
You're talking about the fact that you walked out of the stadium, you weren't either a winner, you weren't a winner or a loser.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know how to feel when that happens.
I'm going to let the soccer people try to answer that because I don't have a good answer for you, frankly, on that.
Hey, Frank.
Frank is calling
he's a soccer guy.
Yes, Frank is calling. Frank on our board, yeah. Big Frank, he's saying that he's a soccer guy.
Yes.
So he's answering, and he said he's not fulfilled.
Frank, you're not fulfilled.
I didn't say that. I said let me on.
Oh, I heard not fulfilled too. Are you okay? Tell me how you feel when you leave a stadium 1-1.
No, for that kind of game, a game like what happened on Saturday night, that was a fantastic game going back and forth. You had a couple of goals for both teams getting taken off the board for offside. That was a thrilling game from start to finish, and especially with the way it was the way SDSC turned it around in the second half. It was a completely different team. So to see the fight and the turnaround that this team was able to give you, plus you had the red card in there with a little bit of added drama. It was that, can we get that second goal to get the win? Yeah, there was a lot to be amped up about after that game.
All right. So
I need to get to the point where I'm amped up like Frank.
But ultimately, it was a tie. You still walked out of there with a tie. Although I'm not allowed to say try. I know. You can't say tie.
They're now 2-2-0, which doesn't make me feel good. Because as a traditional sports fan, I think they've lost 2 games now.
Right. They're 2-0-2 in my mind.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is they have 2 wins and 2 draws. That's how I'm getting around that.
Someone is saying soccer is better in a tournament format, and I can get behind that. I mean, when you have everything on the line in tournaments, I think that's pretty fun. But I like going to the games. I've been to both of them now. Before the game, they do a really great job of entertaining the crowd. All the Padres basically came out. Manny flew everyone on a private jet.
Joe Musgrove walking out there with the ceremony of first ball. Is that what I don't know if they call it the first ball, but that's what I called it.
First ball.
That's what I called it. Joe walked out there and everybody was geeked up. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. There's no arguing that. The atmosphere is second to none at those soccer matches. So it was fun. Everybody got to go to a match. And then one last thing for San Diego fans, we haven't mentioned it yet today. JJ Spahn from San Diego State, pro golfer, had a chance to win the Players Championship, which is a biggie.
The 5th major.
According to you, it's a biggie. But he lost in a playoff today to your guy, Rory McIlroy. Beat him in a 3-hole playoff.
Rory McIlroy's going to win one of the 4 majors this year.
He's
already won the 5th major.
You say it every year. I mean, you're going to be right sometime. At some point, you're going to be right.
Yeah, but he's playing really well. JJ Spahn, though, that's impressive. I mean, that's not an easy golf course whatsoever. It just is like, I hate when they do this in golf, and I know that they had, delays, and I know that it was dark, but I hate when they make you do a three-hole playoff the next morning at 9 a.m.
I can't imagine they had to sleep, the whole night and, try to get some rest and then get up at like the crack of dawn and go out and play 3 holes to determine this tournament. That was crazy.
Think about it. You win that, you wake up, you win that. You're for JJ Spahn, your life is completely changed.
Yeah.
Completely.
He just missed it, but good for you, JJ.
His life is still changing.
Still pretty good. Still pretty good.
Diesel said about the soccer question,
right?
Said when you're behind and you come back and score to tie it up, you just cost the other team 2 points and gave yourself 1 point. Way better than an L. Fulfillment. So there you go. That's all I needed. I need some explanation.
I know, but I want to know on the other side, if you have the lead and the other team ties you up.
He says if you're ahead and the other team ties it up, it feels like a loss.
There you go.
All right. I could go by that, Diesel.
Okay. SDFC, a month into their existence, still undefeated.
I didn't think that we were going to be saying that.
I didn't either. All right. When we come back, it's Ruben Niebla. After that, Jake Cronenworth. Padre fans, stick around. A lot more good Gwynn and Chris on the way. All right, Crisello, Scraby, carrying you the rest of the way. Tony, of course, has been with us all day, and he'll be in with us on these last 2 interviews of this Monday show, our first in Peoria. Spring training will be here tomorrow as well, so make sure you join us for a bunch more interviews, and tomorrow will be the beginning of the March Madness. The Aztecs will take on North Carolina, which actually starts after our show tomorrow. Scrape, are you doing Chronicles, or are you getting that off for a couple days?
No, I'm not doing Chronicles tonight. And then tomorrow we have the Padres game on the station, so there was no Chronicles.
No Chronicles the
I'm
next 2
sorry
nights.
to the Chronicle viewers and listeners. I know.
They miss you.
I know they're going to think that I'm lazy. It's not the case.
They missed they're going to miss their Chronicles for a couple of days. We'll be back in town Wednesday, and
you know what we haven't said today?
We'll have more merriment.
Friday. Everybody needs to come on down to Dave & Buster's in Mission Valley. We're going to be broadcasting. The station is going to be broadcasting from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. There will be a Chronicles from Dave & Buster's. I need people to show up for me because I'm going to be the only one there from our show.
Tony's going to be here, and I'm going to be in Louisiana, but I'm going to be with you on Zoom. I'll be with you in spirit, but I won't be able to be there.
So I need people to show up to Dave & Buster's just to kind of make me feel like I'm not alone.
Yeah, give Scraby some support.
That would be sad.
It's Dave & Buster's in Mission Valley. It's right where the 8 and the 805 meet, and it's underneath the ramp there.
You know,
it's always a little scary to be at Dave & Buster's, I must say, because there's like 9 freeways crossing over your head.
I was going to say, like, I never knew how to get there for the longest time.
It's a weird, it's hard to get to, but it's there. You'll see it, and you get on Mission Center Road and double back. Anyway, go see Scraby, go get some food, play some games, and watch some NCAA tournament with him. He'll be there Friday from 2 to 6. And I think the Aztecs, if they're playing, if they beat North Carolina, the Aztecs will be playing at 1 o'clock on Friday. So that means you'll be on during the second half. We and I will be on. But you'll be in Dave & Buster's for the second half of that game.
I don't know. I think that's probably okay because I can't be distracted then. In studio, I'm just staring at the TV the entire time. Like there, I don't know that I'm going to be able to like just stare at a TV the entire
Since
time.
I'm going to be on Zoom with you Friday from Louisiana, here's how I'm going to look on Zoom.
Yeah, you're just going to look at the TV.
I'll be watching the whole second half on TV. So anyway, that's coming up. Good point, Friday. Make sure you join Scraby Friday at Dave & Buster's. Ben and Woods will be there in the morning, and then Braden in the midday. And let's keep it going now with our Padre interviews. Ruben Niebla. You're going to be smarter after you hear this. And from Padre Spring Training, Gwynn and Chris continuing here, and we're happy to have with us the Padre pitching coach, Ruben Niebla, who, if I would have just met you maybe 25 years ago, Ruben, I might have had a career. The question is, could you have done something with a left-hander who thought he was Randy Jones, but wasn't even quite to that level? I mean, I don't even think, thank goodness they didn't have radar guns when I pitched, because I think they would have just taken me off the mound before I got out there.
Well, you never know. I mean,
I got guys out though.
How hard was it?
I honestly, it couldn't have been much higher than 80.
Well,
fastball.
No speeding tickets for you.
No speeding tickets. I got a lot. You know who hated me? Third baseman. Because right-handed hitters used to hit bullets.
It was truly
down there.
the hot corner at that point.
It was truly the hot corner. All right. Anyway, Ruben Niebla doesn't have to worry about dealing with me. Thankfully, he's got major league pitchers to handle. Give me your take on your staff, your guys at this point in spring training, and kind of your main guys and some guys maybe that have caught your eye.
Yeah, it's a pretty good group right now. I'm really excited about the guys. Obviously, Michael King, Dylan Cease, Nick Pavetta are doing their thing. Yu Darvish, similar. We're all in a pretty good spot there. I think yesterday was a really feel-good day with seeing Dylan Cease going out there and punching out 8 guys.
Yeah.
And he was facing the A lineup for the Angels. So, and with that being said, it rolled right over to the guys that are in the next tier, which is Kyle Hart, Stephen Kolek, Randy Vasquez, those guys that are competing for that 5th spot in the rotation. And we saw Kyle, roll out 4 innings, 4+ and be able to, be in the strike zone, show a variation of pitches. So pretty excited about that.
Ruben, about those guys who are competing for that 5th spot in the rotation, and much in the same way on the position player side, the guys competing for those final roster spots are putting together a pretty good competition. You kind of got the same thing going on the pitching side. Stephen Kolek, a guy who was out of the bullpen last year, kind of figured his way out at the big league level, is now starting. He's been pretty impressive in his couple of starts here so far. What have you seen from him that has, him squarely in this competition for that 5th spot?
Right. It's been a pretty cool evolvement of career, what we're seeing. We took this guy in the Rule 5 out of AA. He was a starter in the past. In the minor leagues, he has been a starter. So we rolled the dice on that. And with a vision of him doing exactly what he's doing right now. And when he showed up at the major league level, it was a little bit of a challenge because of the level. It just, there was a couple of jumps there. And, but he did a pretty nice job adjusting to it because it wasn't pretty at times. There was a lot of challenges, and we were trying to figure out who he was going to be, what he was capable of doing. We changed a little bit of how he was using the arsenal.
Yeah.
And then, so the second half of the season was much better. He got himself into a pretty good position where, he was giving us some valuable outs. So coming into spring training, the plan was already set to be able to do that. Put him in the starting rotation, and he's responded well to that. It's really, really encouraging.
Ruben Niebla is with us here at Padres Spring Training in Peoria. Nick Pivetta. First of all, I'm curious, do they get any of your input before they sign somebody like Nick Pivetta? Is that him? Hey, Nick. How are you? He just walked in. I didn't know.
I thought you planned that right
No,
there.
I really didn't. God, that's funny. He just walked past us. But do you get in on that at all before they sign somebody like that? Or do they say, nope, here's your guy? And secondly, everything I've read, analytics, he's got the spin rate, the this, the that, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But the career ERA is about 4-ish or so. So how do we use some of that arsenal, bring that ERA down a little bit this year?
Yeah, so there is some involvement in that, especially higher profile guys.
Yeah.
With like Nick, there was conversations that were happening before the signing, Zoom calls and stuff like that, getting to know him a little bit better. For AJ, he does his due diligence and makes sure he really knows the guys before they come in here. So
yeah.
So that happened, and once we signed him, really happy because of everything you just mentioned as far as the potential here, and it hasn't been pretty for him in his career. Yeah, I think it's a 4.70 ERA career wise, but everything points in a good direction right now. Fastball ride is one of the best in baseball. Ability to spin the breaking ball. I think as he comes here, there's going to be a little bit more arsenal showing up. We're going to free him up just a little bit more, use some sliders that he didn't use maybe against lefties last year. There's going to be a possible new pitch showing up.
Okay.
He's been in the lab, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, and it's just the progression. I want to make sure that Nick feels comfortable with the process, feels comfortable with him being able to show us who he is first before we start making adjustments. But, I feel really good about this stuff.
Well, one of the things you hear about Nick is his intensity in terms of his demeanor. It's a little bit different than the three guys that have been here who are by their own kind of measurement are probably pretty intense guys, but his is a little bit different. How is he kind of mixed in with the group that has already been here?
That's a great question. Our culture is pretty strong within the pitching group, I think. The culture itself will help you navigate those things. And we have Michael King, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, even Dylan Cease, that brings his own element to the group.
Right.
And hopefully that within that culture, people become better. And that's what we're looking for. I think we saw it a little bit in Blake Snell.
Yeah.
And so,
great
so anyways, that's what we're looking for.
The relief corps so far this spring has not put up the kind of numbers that make fans happy, but we know that you guys are looking for something completely different. Spring training. Give us a progress report on how Suarez, Jason Adam, back into the guys look as far as you're concerned. Not looking at the runs they've given up so far.
Well, it's funny because in spring training you give up 2 runs in 1 inning.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
It's magnified.
Yeah,
and it's like it. So, I mean, it's again, it's a long season for a reason once we get there. But no, I'm happy where they're at, because what I'm looking at is making sure that the progress, we're going in an uphill manner.
Okay.
So the velocity's creeping up a little bit, then the command starts showing up, and then the shape starts showing up. And I think with all of those guys, we're heading in the right direction. So I feel very confident about that. I also see him pitch in the backfields, and I'm like, okay, their stuff's there. It's just now transferring to that A game, you know.
Okay.
And so those guys are true professionals. They know what they need to get ready, and I feel good about it.
Do you sometimes worry, like a guy like Jason Adams? He came out and pretty much rolled through like the first 4. Do you kind of want him to kind of go through some of those speed bumps a little bit to kind of? It's almost like a warning sign to kind of keep you, get you back to center and make sure you're kind of rolling through it right.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I don't want to see that, right? But at the same time, there's 2 guys in camp right now that I'm going like, oh my God, these guys need to have some runners on base.
Right.
Morehonen and Strada.
Right.
You know, they're just rolling through their innings, and it's 9 pitches, 10 pitches, 11 pitches.
Yeah.
The other night, I was happy to actually see Yuki Matsui throw 25 pitches, and he had some traffic, and I was like, this is good, right? We're getting ready for the season, and he had some adversity. He had some runners on base and gave up a run, and that's good.
Yeah.
That stressful inning right there is going to help us in 2 weeks. So it's a little bit of a balance. Yes, you want to see these guys dominate, but at the same time, it's like you want to make sure that the bullets are in the holster.
Did you expect Robert Suarez to be able to but do as well as he did as a full-time closer? Because it seems like, as much as that is stuff, that's also attitude, that's also mental preparation. Sometimes it might take a little while to learn. He seemed like he picked it up right off the bat and ran with it the whole season last year.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he built the confidence early and he just ran with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if this guy has a heart rate.
Yeah.
It's like he's just so calm, his demeanor. He just stays within himself. And somebody that's able to do that is able to process, like, not running away from hitters and not trying to invent the wheel, right? So he's just like, this is my strength. I stay within it. And even as I'm going through adversity, this is what I do. And putting the pressure on the hitter as he does is eventually going to win more battles than not.
Lastly, from me before we let you get out of here, some of those same guys who are competing for that 5th spot could very well transfer to the bullpen. Mm-hmm. What is that transition like when a guy has, he comes in, he's trying to win a job as a starter? How do you then, I don't even know if the right word is throttle down, but how do you change it up in order to now fit into a role, whether it's long relief or middle relief, in the bullpen?
Yeah, so that guy, the 5th spot, whoever doesn't win that battle, initially your first thought is, hopefully he's not one of the guys that is on our team. Because what you want to do is you want to have that depth in AAA too.
Gotcha.
So you need some guys there. So you're hoping that somebody else steps up and says, I'm this guy.
Gotcha.
Now, with our season getting started the way it's getting started and the pitchers not having built up possibly to 110 pitches yet, it might make sense for us to roll one of those guys into the bullpen to be able to take 3-4 innings at a time
early in the season.
Early in the season.
Gotcha.
So ideally, you're not, but if it happens, what you do is those guys would be there to protect the starter in case something blows up early. And those guys are still end up pitching, 40, 50 pitches. So the buildup kind of stays in a very similar manner. So, but hopefully the competition just is created in a manner that we have our defined starters and we have our defined starters in El Paso.
There he is, Ruben Niebla, the pitching. We didn't even say it. Pitching whisperer this time.
Yeah, we did.
We ran through that last interview. So, Ruben, thanks so much for the time. I really enjoy it. I learn something every time we talk to you. And best of luck again this season.
Appreciate it. You're learning something every time, man.
I need to.
You got to get out a little bit more.
I set myself up for that one.
You did. Thank you, Ruben.
Note to self, don't do that again. Ruben Niebla coming with the one-liners there, and always fun to have him on the program. Gwynn and Chris wrapping things up. We got one more to go, and we saved a good one for you. Jake Cronenworth when we come back on Gwynn and Chris from Peoria.
Doing great here earlier this morning, but the weather's starting to warm up, which is nice.
It is nice. You had a lot going on. We'll get to some baseball stuff, but you had a lot going on this offseason. You got married.
I did.
How was the wedding? Or wifey is out here, right? Because she works for the Chicago White Sox. I imagine, you guys get home from work. You don't really want to talk about work anymore at that point. Or were you trying to? You guys both do the same thing, or in the same occupation, basically.
No, we've been watching a lot of TV shows, but no, it's been really nice because it is so early in our marriage. But usually we don't get to see each other during spring training because my schedule is crazy, and for her to be working the same schedule and be out here and for us to be together is pretty awesome.
Now, when the White Sox were here last week, did you guys get to ride home together?
No, she drove.
Oh man,
she was up in the press box. Though,
I saw. That's why I was asking. All right.
What TV shows does she like to make you watch? I've been married a while, so I know how these things work.
The show we've been watching recently is Lioness on Paramount Plus.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's good.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Have you seen Paradise yet on Hulu?
We just finished that.
Okay.
2 or 3 days ago. It was really good.
Yeah, I like that one. Jake is with us. Okay. How is this whole setting changed for you in like the last 4 years? From first year when we interviewed you and we thought you were a shortstop and a pitcher, to now with wear your old hat.
Man,
kinda.
It's crazy. It's
isn't it?
I don't want to say it's a unique kind of path that I've taken, but it is, and because it's unique to me.
Right.
But no, I mean it's crazy. Being a 26-year-old rookie in the big leagues that was a pitcher, shortstop, and then kind of finds his way into the lineup as a pinch runner in that first game, and kind of carved a path for myself, and now we're here. And no, it's pretty crazy, honestly, when you look back at it. And it's one of those things you don't really notice until as the years go on. And I'm sure when I retire at some point or when that time comes, I'm going to look back and even, kind of think it's even crazier.
It goes by really fast. It does feel like it wasn't that long that he was sitting here in front of us, and we didn't really know how to even approach the interview based on.
I think we had to ask for a pronunciation of his last name.
But here we are now. I mean, you're one of the vets on this team. Speaking of, your growth.
Yeah.
You've been one of the union reps for quite some time. You moved up to executive board now. I mean, just talk about like the responsibilities of that, because for you, this is much bigger than just going out and playing baseball.
Yeah. I was an assistant rep my first couple of years with when Craig Stammen was our rep. And, he's got 1 million kids, so I was taking the brunt of the work. So
Craig takes a shot. He's not even here.
No, I mean, I think it was good, though, for me at an age where I was early in my career. And, Craig had been doing it for a long time, I think since he had been in D.C. So to learn from him, and then I've known some people at the PA for a long time, and to learn from them as well. And just gain knowledge. And I wasn't a rep at the point, and though I was kind of taking everything as if I was the rep, because Craig was busy doing his thing, and taking over the role as the rep these last 3 years, and now on the subcommittee. No, it's been crazy, man. It's an important piece for young players, and not just young players, but guys who play 10, 11 years too. I mean, this is our livelihood and this is our career, and whatever we can do to help us now and then obviously help the generations that come after us is very important.
Are the younger guys taking to understanding the importance of what you do and how to kind of keep passing this down?
I think over the course of time, yeah. I've always been interested in it.
Yeah.
Since even when I was in the minor leagues, and we didn't have a minor league PA at the time, but I've always been interested. But I think guys are starting to realize the importance of it, and it's hard for a really young player to come in and be like, "Hey, I want you to, be the assistant rep because I think you're going to be here for a long time. I think this will be beneficial for you, and not for you, but for your career. You're going to understand how the process works and what you're going to go through: arbitration, free agency, pension, all these different things, and it's all important. But it's hard when you're really young because you want to focus on playing and you want to focus on getting to a position that you can achieve all those things as your career goes along.
No doubt. Jake Cronenworth is with us at Padres spring training. Okay, the fans think they know, but they don't. So let's set them straight. Jake is struggling because he's playing first base. He's playing second base. He doesn't know what position he's going to play. Does any of this matter to you? Does it have any effect? I mean, do you have to work extra to, have two positions, and can that take away from your offense? I mean, do the fans have any? Are they right at all? Just a tiny bit?
No, I mean, the one thing about our fans is they're passionate about our team and they want us to win. And it's the same thing with us. We're passionate about us as a group and we want to win. So as much as it hurts when guys don't have success or they're going through a slump or we're losing, it hurts us honestly more.
Yeah,
it does.
Sure. Yeah.
And I mean, it because it's our livelihood. This is what we do. Like, it pains us when we're not helping the team win. But in my case, when I'm going through those times or I'm moving positions back and forth or whatever that, little span may be, when I show up to the field that day, like, I could feel the worst ever at the plate. I could feel horrible in the field. I could feel like, making all of these mistakes. But when I show up, my goal is like, okay, I may not be at my best right now at the plate. I may not be seeing everything, but what can I do to help the team win tonight?
Yeah.
That may be beat out a double play. I may be 0 for 4, but I beat out a double play early in the game that, lets that winning run score and we win by one run, or I make a defensive play, or I make a good read on the bases that extends the inning and gets their starter out. There's a lot more things that go into it than just hits and strikeouts.
I know
it's hard. It's the hardest thing I think we do is trying to convince people that you have to separate the money that guys are making to what they're doing on the field. Everybody who's making a lot of money, 99% of guys who play in this game want to do well, and they don't want to suck. They don't want to be embarrassed. There's nothing worse.
This is what he says all the time.
No matter how much money you're making, these people they care about what they're doing. So they're not thinking about the money. They're thinking about why I'm not doing well. And so it's one of the hardest things we have to convince. But on that point, I felt like some of the things you talked about last year, the team as a whole did a lot of that. And it ends up turning out that everybody has pretty decent years when everybody's focused on what you're talking about, which is, if I am 0 for 4, what can I do to help win a game?
100%. I mean, there's one stretch specifically last year. It was one of the hardest stretches because I wasn't hitting, but it was a stretch that I was I don't want to say proud of, but I was pretty proud of because I think it was that, end of August, the beginning of September little stretch where I think I was only hitting like 200 over the course of like 15 games, but I had like a 415 on base percentage.
Right. You're finding other ways.
So it's like, yes, I may not be getting the hits. I may not be, crushing the ball or hitting homers or whatever, but I'm somehow finding a way to get on base. And like, I think especially where I was hitting in the lineup at that time, like, it's super important because then it rolls the lineup over, fifth time going into those last 3 innings, and it gets the top 3 guys up in the 9th inning, or, it gets them up in the 8th, and now it's our, 4, 5, and 6 guys coming back up in the 9th, and then now it's more pressure on their bullpen to come in and them to make moves, and it may be game 1 of a series where, their starter comes out in the 5th instead of the 6th, and now they burn 4 bullpen guys, and boom, now we're set up the next 2 days to really go after them.
That's what they're thinking of, everybody. And you're thinking of all this other stuff. You're thinking of, wow, you didn't get a hit from my fantasy team. That's what they're thinking of. Let me tell you, Jake, you know this. Jake Cronenworth is with us. All right, first base to second base. First of all, when you play first base, you almost play second base because I've never seen a guy off the line further than you. But what are the differences, heading into this season just mentally as you kind of get ready?
Yeah, I think, me switching to second base a little bit last season was definitely good. I think the first little 30 games that I played was definitely an adjustment period because I hadn't played there in a year and a half. And when you're not playing at a spot in a year and a half and you're taking ground balls in one place and you go back to a position you've played, yes, it's familiar, but at the same time, it's getting those reps and getting the right angles and where you got to throw from and being in the right spots, and then go back to first base and then those last 55-ish games, I think I played at second. I made the right adjustments, looked at a ton of video of what I was doing in 22 and what I was doing, the first stint last year, what I was doing wrong, and really propelling myself to put myself in the best position on the defensive side of the ball to make plays.
Body-wise, I know last year going to first base, you felt like you needed to, add a little muscle, put a little weight on. I imagine you've gone the opposite way for second base.
Yeah, I think it was more just I'm playing, I don't want to say a more athletic position because I like to play first as if I was playing the middle of the field.
Right.
But I think a big thing this offseason was how can I get faster? How can I get more quick twitch? And, I'm playing that position in the middle of the field for 162. And, it's I don't want to say it's the most demanding position, but it's a position that you need to be ready to go all the time. And I love playing second because the reason I like it is, whatever's happening at the plate, I know that when I go out on the defensive side of the ball, I can impact the game somehow.
Yeah.
Whether it's a tag play at second or turning a double play at the end of the game or, having a cut and relay in the gap that throws the tying run out at the plate or, I personally like that because I love playing defense. So it's for me, I like having that separation of defense and offense. And not to say I didn't have it at first, but it's a little harder because you're sitting over there and it's kind of hard to talk to the guys over there and you're kind of sitting in your own little world, which is great. But at the same time, I'm talking the entire game to everybody on the field.
Yeah.
This play could potentially happen. This is going to happen. Hey, you need to get there if that ball goes down the line. But if this happens, we need to be over in the spot. That's a piece I really love.
As Anders says, when you're at second base as opposed to first base, you're further away from the dugout. Isn't that what Xander said?
That's why he didn't want to.
He's even shaking his head on that one.
Jake, man, it's been fun, man. Appreciate you coming on. Spend some time.
Thanks, man.
As always.
Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, that is going to do it for a busy day. From Peoria, thank Frank Marchese back in the studio.
Big Frank.
Big Tony Gwynn Jr.
Big Tony.
Big Crisello. And the little guy, Matt Scraby.
Matt Scraby.
Yeah. Don't forget, we do it again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Lots more Padre interviews. Have a good rest of your evening from Peoria. So long, everyone.
Bye.